What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sisko and Mike Podcast. Mike, I told you I was a little nervous today.
Why are you fucking nervous? We've been doing this for 2 years, 3 years now.
Hey, it's the long break. And then our two guests over there making me even more nervous where they're holding hands and stuff, you know? Yep. What happens when you get a Tom Cruise stalker and a guy that que vive con huevos?
Damn. We go on long humps. That's
I never should have fucking told you guys that. Now you guys are going to fucking call me the hump guy. Mike Hump.
Sisko and Hump Podcast.
But for those that don't know, we got Andy back joining us, and then we got Mario from Vive Con Huevos joining us.
So yeah.
Hey, man, it's been a long time coming. We've been talking about this for a long time.
For a while.
But it's...
now we're officially coworkers, kind of, too.
Kind of.
In a way.
Yeah, kind of with those meetings and two truths, one lie.
Humping.
And humping. And we got a little personal, touching each other's skin and measuring.
Oh, yeah.
We don't talk about that.
That happens, hey, fool.
What happens behind the scenes happens
What
behind
happens
the
when
scenes.
you're drunk, fool? It stays when you're drunk, dog.
We actually collaborated on the Sisko and Mike OnlyFans, so go check that out. It's going to be really good.
Sneak peek on
it's
the
like
Patreon.
30 seconds long, but it's worth the $50. I swear to God. It's good.
And it doesn't include our feet, FYI. You don't want to see that.
Hey, what the fuck's up with this, though? It's a different setup today.
Yeah, it is. I think we just want to have a little chill and just have a little conversation without a lot of pressure.
Then why are you so nervous?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the point.
I'm over here fucking with this shit like I know what I'm doing, bro.
It's easy, fool. Just bring out the money. Bring out the real money. I'll show you.
You really want me to lose, huh?
No, I will teach you.
I'm gonna pawn my fiance's ring right now.
Let me see. Let me check it.
She's like, you're going to walk home?
Looking at
Did she do the bite test, though? Did she bite it to see if
Don't
it's
tell
real?
her, bro.
Oh. Is there such a thing as a bite test?
I don't know. Everybody says, when you get silver or whatever, bite it. And if it dents, it's not real. I guess it may be. Because different metals might dent.
Well, it's funny because gold dents easy. If it's real
it?
gold, it's supposed to dent easy.
So
Is it for real?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, it's like kind of.
Let me see.
It's no, they don't.
is that why your neck is green, fool?
Yeah, dog. Hey, that's the diabetes, dog.
Let me check my shit. Let me fucking put me. Oh, you know, I'm gonna hide the fucking double chin. I'm gonna go like this.
Right?
That's why I have a beard, bro.
Same here. No, same here. Yeah.
I get it.
I have a big double
I
chin.
can't grow a beard. I tried it. I tried it once here. Remember when I let it grow?
You didn't try it, fool.
I tried it. It just didn't fucking work, fool. It was.
It's the same shit he has now.
Palitos like that.
He's still trying right now.
Look like
I'm not even trying anymore.
You tried lining it up.
Yeah.
But anyway, we want to thank you guys, man. I know you came from AZ. You came from SD.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you guys coming out.
Of course.
Weather's probably horrible over there in AZ right
sucks.
now. SD is always beautiful.
Dude,
Still
honestly,
SoCal.
Yeah, but I still complain, bro. I still complain. It's like 70, and I'm like, dude, it's fucking hot as
AC full blast on.
AC full blast, and I'm in my car still. It's like I'm hot as
But you
hell.
guys got that nice breeze, though.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Beautiful
we do.
breeze, man.
It depends on what part of San Diego you're in.
Okay.
Like, well, obviously, the closer you get to the coast, the more of the breeze you get. But yeah, I mean,
Your
honestly,
area
I
is
just
nice.
need to stop complaining because it's beautiful. all
Well, you're
around.
gonna come visit me in Arizona. You're like, God damn, I love San Diego.
I love the AC.
Yeah, that's one thing I said, like, just SoCal. It's just beautiful. I wouldn't leave it.
Yeah.
I don't care what the prices are, what it is. And just from traveling to other states and shit. I mean,
You
don't
used
get
to
me
could
wrong.
afford it. That's why.
Yeah, you're rich.
Nah.
So, I mean, people keep telling me Texas. Why people always say
Texas is beautiful because the Cowboys.
Which one?
Both.
Andy, it's a lie. They're not riding around in horses over there, right? Just,
Oh, they are
that way.
shirtless too. Anyways,
Nah, Texas is
chaps.
cool, actually. Texas is actually growing a lot.
I just I can't see myself in Texas. I've been there. Don't get me wrong. I visited there, but I just don't. It's not for me. I guess it has to do with like the history and like the people. Don't get me wrong. I love Texas people, but they don't like. You know, we always talk about like
It's not real Mexican food?
No, that's también
true.
eso.
That's true. It's not. I had like the
I
tacos.
asked for a burrito once there, and they gave me a taco.
Yeah, it's
And I was like, what the fuck is
Tex-Mex
this?
food. It's weird.
Yeah, that's what they call, I guess, a burrito. So I was like,
I'm
what the
sorry.
fuck?
I love Texas, but their beans just ain't.
Yeah,
it.
they ain't it.
those
Unless they're
are like-
barbecue. Unless they're barbecue
Unless
beans.
they're
Like barbecue beans.
Yeah,
That's
but that's
different.
not Mexican.
Yeah,
beans.
that's not
That's-
Mexican.
yeah, no.
And then they don't consider themselves Chicano,
Latino.
Mexicanos, Latinos. They consider themselves Texans.
Tejanos.
Tejanos.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's like
can't-
here in LA, you know, like it has its own culture too. LA, like Hispanics, Latinos have their own culture.
But they se me hacen un poquito arrogantes, you know? Like they're like a little arrogant. Not all of them, obviously.
Hey, shout
I've
out
met-
Selena though.
Hey, Selena's huge. When I was in Austin, dude, that shit was hilarious. So we got an Uber, and it was like an African American, right? And he's driving, he's bumping Selena, and I'm like, what? I'm like, "Are you into Selena?" He's like, "Everybody down here is into Selena." It's like, what, like
I
that?
just put it on because you got it in the car.
Like she's like, I understood that. I knew she was big, but I didn't know it was that big.
Well, come on, she brought out that part of the Corpus Christi, right? She
Yeah,
brought it
Corpus
out,
Christi.
fucking, and put it on the map. So.
Yeah, but I will say, like, the weather in other places, like, we complain here, but we have it so good. Because when I was in Texas, one day when we arrived, it was cloudy, just like today, right? An hour later, it's fucking raining. 2 hours later, it's sunny as hell and it's humid. Like, the weather just switches like that.
That was the same thing that happened in New Orleans. In New Orleans,
Yep.
man, it was hot, humid, and then all of a sudden it was raining, and then it got cold. Chicago the same way.
Oh, Chicago's beautiful, though.
Chicago's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but when I went there, like July,
It's just humid.
nah, fool, it was weird. We got there, it was hot. July 4th week, and then all of a sudden it started raining, and then it got cold, and then it got hot, humid. I was like, fuck, I can't do that shit. I hate sweating. I hate.
I can't deal with the humid.
Yeah, I can't
Florida,
either.
bro.
Humid.
Florida.
I can't.
I was in
Fuck.
Florida in July. God damn, that was bad. You go outside, like 2 seconds, you're like fucking like,
Yeah,
God
fuck, I can't do
damn.
that. I can't do that shit.
It's like, have you ever showered and shit? You shower to get cool, and you came out of the shower and you're just already fucking sweating.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that. I can't do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I can't, like, Cancun and all that. Fuck that. I can't do that no more.
It's
I will
cool
not
like
do that.
a little bit, like
Yeah.
a
I
weekend.
think in Cabo when we went last year,
Cabo's
it
nice,
was like
man.
that. Well, you get a little sweaty, but I didn't give a fuck because I would think I was like drunk 90% of the time.
That's why you're
So-
sweating. That's why you're fucking sweating, fool.
Yeah.
Fucking rainstorm outside and shit. I'm fucking sweating.
Damn.
But yeah, anyways, today we want to talk about, we've been collaborating with you. We've been talking to you back and forth. And it feels like we've built like this community, of podcasters. We had in events. We see each other all the time. And just the way we communicate, it's become like a friendship thing. What do you guys think it is, or what's contributed to that?
Dude, everyone's just fucking cool. Like thankfully, everyone I've met so far, I think the only person like is Mario that's like just mean. No, I'm just kidding. No. But everyone that we've met is
sending you guys a Venmo request right now.
yeah.
For my time.
No, I think just the community that we have, like especially with our friends that we all know, like the IE people, the Kickback crew, like Super Ego, like everyone that we've fucking met is just cool as hell. So I'm thankful, and I think that's just one of the biggest reasons. Like, and we all just stay in communication. Like, I just randomly like comment on your guys' things. Of course, I message you. Like, we're just always talking. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's one of those like if one of us comes up, we all come up.
Yeah.
Type deal. I think for like the longest time, and correct me if I'm wrong, I kind of felt it or saw it in the beginning where like maybe a few years ago when like podcasting really started, there was a lot of like gatekeeping, and it was like, no, this is my niche people. I got this guest. I'm not gonna show you, or maybe that type of deal.
Yeah.
And then randomly there was like this switch where it's like, no, well, let me help you get to this guest, or let me introduce you to people in my network. And there was a lot more of that like unity, like everyone kind of wanted to get up together, right? Or like help everybody come up together, because we were all there at one point. It's like we had like 10 streams or like maybe 5 listens, and out of those 5 it was just me that was listening 3 times,
Luckily, we're at 12, and 6 of those are me.
The pre ones when you upload it to YouTube, you're like, oh, I got 6 views already.
3 different devices.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool.
So I think it was just that. It was like, I guess you could say like the whole like Latino come up. Whereas like we just wanted to see our whole community as a group kind of just come up together. And it's pretty dope, like collabing with everybody.
And I think one of the other biggest people too, I forgot to shout them out, Yo Sabo. I feel like they've brought a lot of people together. Like their last event, I mean, you guys were there. Sorry, Mike. But it was fun. Like there was a lot of people. We met more people. So I was like, that's just cool.
What was like that day?
It was one of your daughter's birthdays.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was yeah.
But yeah, shout out to them because they've brought a lot of people together too.
Yeah, that's true, actually, because even their event, you're right. Like, just talking to people, I felt comfortable because I was going alone. At first, I was kind of like, oh, damn, like, I'm going to go alone. It's going to be weird,
Hey, come on, fool, missed your daughter's birthday. I was like, that's pendejo.
No, I didn't
One next year.
She's going to have a lot more. No, but it just, like, I was like, you know what? I know half of these people there, so fuck it, let's just go. But, yeah, just building that community has been a lot different.
Yeah. It was crazy, though, because then in a couple months, like, there was, I'm not going to say the names, but somebody called out, or there was a misunderstanding about like the IE.
Oh, there was some like drama.
Yeah. So I guess it could be like that sometimes, right?
Yeah, no, it can be. I mean, you just gotta. I feel like you just need to feel out people's vibes.
Yeah.
And I feel like you just know when there's, of course, I feel like, and unfortunately there's that situation with like George Lopez with like that whole Ralph Barbosa, and then they fixed that. But I feel like there's always going to be that like little drama. Like I feel like no matter what I think I even heard you guys talk about it, like the biggest enemy to a Mexican or a Latino is another Latino, which I feel like it's true sometimes.
Yeah.
It's the thing is that I think like us, we understand each other because we're going through the same struggles.
Yeah.
You know, some people have the little privilege of starting off a little bigger than others.
Yeah.
And I think that changes the mindset too. Even if, let's think about it, money changes everybody, right? You can change it to the same thing with views. Views change everything. Once people start gaining views, it changes their perspective and how they start acting. But the difference, I think, is that we've kind of built this in our struggles that we know we are all in the same place. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, like we understand
Yeah.
where we came from and how. I'm not that people don't know how much it takes to get to a certain point, but we kind of understand it a little bit more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And some people, like the one that we were talking about, the drama, some people just have the luxury of having a following already individually. And then once they start the podcast, you see it all the time. Some people shouldn't have freaking podcasts. I mean, maybe we're one of them. I don't know, you know,
Like
but
the Sisko and Mike
like the Sisko and Mike. Exactly, you know,
It's
but
like, yo, you guys, look at this production. You guys haven't filmed in how many months?
but there is people that like just because they already have like a fame for whatever reason, acting or blowing up on TikTok or whatever it is, right? And then they use that to kind of fuel their podcast. But the conversations are a little dry, or maybe they're not relatable in a sense. I guess you can say.
I think that the thing for me is more like the age differences in the podcasters. So, because you know, obviously, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I really don't give a fuck if you're 18 and want to follow us, or if you're 55 and you want to follow us. I really don't care. I am me, just like you guys saw me before this shit. I'm gonna be the same way I've been.
Oh.
And that's who I want to be. You know what I'm saying? That's how I want to be.
Well, your English accent went away, which
Yeah.
is that's fine.
All of a sudden, you don't want to hump and
No, but I think like that to me is like the part that gets me kind of like fuck, like trying to appeal to everybody.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're like, well, I don't care if I appeal. I just want to be me. And then I think some people are really trying hard because either for the views or for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? And then there could be one way in front of the camera, and then when they get off the camera, they're another way. So it's like, fuck, how do you know which ones are real and which ones are not?
Well, actually, that's a good point. Like, I think for example, I don't know, I want to ask you guys right now too. What are the reasons for starting a podcast in your eyes? You know what I mean? What's the reason that you started, and what's the reason that you started?
I think for me it was more of, well, obviously I think the majority of us kind of started during COVID, so I miss talking to my friends and things like that. So it was kind of like a way for me to still connect with my friend group without having to see them. Because at the same time when COVID started, like we didn't know what the hell we were battling. It was like basically illegal to see each other. So it was a nice way to connect with everybody. And then also with the brand in itself, it was like I wanted to bring awareness to just living and being happy. And that's where Vive Con Huevos kind of really derived from. It was like we started in COVID. Everyone was super scared, but at the same time, you saw so many people just starting their passion projects. And like it was like anything. My fiance started baking cakes. People started selling like mugs and like doing like random little shops. But a lot of people got super creative versus like before you wouldn't see people wanting to jump at that right away. That people were like more scared to, Vive Con Huevos, right? So I think that was like kind of like the main gist of it was like just start it. Like just whatever you want to do, just do it. Like nothing should stop you at the end of the day. And I say it on my sign off too. It's like at the end of the day, the only thing that you regret are the things that you didn't do. And like so many people, I mean, before the podcast and before now I'm working with my dad, I was in nursing school, but I was working in like hospice and I was taking care of a lot of viejitos. And when I would have conversations with them, the biggest thing or the biggest that revolved around their lives was they had just so many regrets. A lot of it obviously had to do with that generation, and also what they were. So like if they were Latino, that whole machista culture, like I had to do whatever I had to do para sacar mi familia adelante. So maybe they gave up on their dreams. And seeing them, like some of them on their deathbed or they were just bedridden in general, that kind of sparked something else in me that I wanted to translate into the podcast. And it's like, just live your life, bro. At the end of the day, it's like, vas a morir y lo único que queda es tu legacía. So what do you want to be remembered as?
And then words of wisdom, and that's not even the end of the episode, bro.
That Celsius hit.
And he's like, why did I let him go first?
Hey, I thought it was fun. I'm like, I'll go first next time. My bad. No, but yeah, dude, that's beautiful because that's true. I mean, and I think I've seen a lot of like the things that my parents did or that they didn't do actually, and that they live with that like, oh, I wish I could have done this. But now, like, thankfully, I'm in a position where I'm like, okay, cool. And I feel like I started a podcast because I have a lot of cool friends. And like, I was like, you know what? I like talking to people. I like getting to know their stories. Like, I like seeing why people are the way they are. And like, I was like, I feel like one-on-one podcast is the best way to do it. I mean, of course, I love acting and skits, and I still do that on the side. And I mean, I think that's just one of the biggest reasons. And I'm still trying to incorporate like skits in my podcast too. So it's just both my loves just coming together.
Nice.
What about you, Mike?
What about I started because you fucking bugged me.
I just needed something to do on the weekends.
Nah, I mean, me and him that talked about this. I've always had a conversation, even with him or with other friends, where I had like 3 other friends that we had talked about doing a podcast at one point. I don't think I ever had the huevos to do it. You know what I'm saying?
No vivía con huevos.
No vivía con huevos. It's not even that. I've just never been the type of guy. I don't like clout. I'm not a flashy guy, like, to the point where, like, oh, look at me, look at me. I really don't give a fuck about that. So that never interested me. But I did always like movies. I think I talk about it a lot. I like movies. I like acting. I wish I would have been an actor. Like, back then, I wanted to be an actor. I've said that story plenty of times. I just never really had, I guess, the confidence to want to do it. And then one day we started working together here, and then we just said, fuck it, let's do it. And I was nervous, you know, it was nerve-wracking. It was fucking, I was scared. Pero ya cuando empezamos, like, now, like, I don't get high off of this shit, or I don't get like, oh my God, like, I want to be in camera. But it's cool because it does let you interact with other people. Mm-hmm. And then you start looking at different perspectives. Like, I've learned a lot, just like he always says it, from each and every one of our guests. Whether it be something funny or just something on how to live your life. It's like, fuck, it's always something new. So I like that. So that's the reason why I think I still like doing it.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it's funny because when we started, obviously it started off like like hobby, I guess you can say. Kind of just messing around.
Well, no, I think we both knew that we wanted to do this.
Yeah. For
sure. I think you did more. I mean, I'm not trying to speak for you, but we've had this conversation. I think you were more serious. I was serious at the beginning too, but I slacked off. I'll be honest. I slacked off. I've always said that. He's the one that, if it wasn't because of him, this shit would not exist. Obviously, you know, this shit, he's all built it. And he has the opportunity to do that. So I'm always grateful for that. But, like, I knew that this wasn't just a hobby. I knew we were going to fucking... If we're going to go all out, we're going to go all out.
I think that's what the thing... Well, go ahead, Annie.
Oh, no. I was going to say, I just feel like you also do have to have that confidence. Like, you can't just... I mean, of course, you have to go into it with, like, I love this and it's so much fun. But I also feel like you have to have the confidence of, I'm going to do this. Like, you have to manifest it. You have to be like, this is going to be something I'm going to do for the rest of my life, or it's going to, like, make me better, or I'm going to do this as a career. And I feel like, yeah, that's good that you went into it like that, too.
I think it was easy, too. Sorry, I don't take a lot of your shit. I think it was easy because we know each other.
Yeah.
And, like, and you don't have to know each other, because I'm sure, I don't know, I can't speak for you guys either, but the other people that I talked about doing the podcast, the other guy that I was more serious about, he's just like me. And I don't think two of me's would have worked.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I think Mike and Mike, and that's not his name, but Mike and Mike wouldn't have worked.
M&M's, dog.
That shit wouldn't have worked. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been a clash of egos at one point. Yeah. I think, like, with this fool, he's totally opposite views. We agree on certain shit, but it's like we always said, it's like a yin yang. Like,
that's
like
cool.
He fucking helps me. He centers me, and then whenever he says some random shit too, I'll center him. You know what I mean? So,
well, you kind of need that dynamic, I think, for a podcast to flow, especially when you have multiple co-hosts.
Yeah,
like we have 4.
That's hard.
Yeah, and it's when I structured it, when I told everybody, I was like, hey, I want you to be on the podcast. I also looked at their personalities. Paulina and I, we can be very similar sometimes in the way we think. So it's like I also needed someone that could contradict me, and that's where Raul comes in. And then Jesus kind of draws that fine line between, like, I'm gonna contradict you, but I'm not. and he's very quiet versus me. I'm more of like outgoing and I'll burst out. Like I say before I think. And Jesus is a lot more analytical. And they all the rest of them are.
Yeah.
I blame my ADHD, but
She's
that's
not
a
looking
whole
from
other
you
topic.
behind the camera.
Yeah. But it's a nice balance, and that's what ultimately you need when you have co-hosts too. Same thing when you bring on different guests. You know, like you look at their content, you try to. Of course, once you bring them on, some people are completely different once the cameras turn on. And there's been some podcasts too where it just feels like I'm pulling teeth. I was like, and it turns more of like into an interrogation than an actual flowy podcast.
Yeah.
You know? So it's
We've
a
been
hard struggle.
We've been lucky though. For the most part, like most guests, like maybe there was one or two that were like, oh, the energy was kind of hard to read at first. But after a while, you know, you kind of just start getting
Then they
into
get
it.
used, yeah. Especially if they've never been on a podcast, or a lot of their content is short form content, so they're not used to the continuous run of things.
Exactly.
But then towards the end, they're like, "Oh, I want to do this again."
Yeah.
And I think it's also the fact that nobody knows what the fuck you're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
Like we could all said, hey, we're gonna talk about poker and fucking tortillas or whatever, right? Humps. And then it turns out, and then it comes someone with some random shit.
Yeah.
Well, I like cacks, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever.
You could have said anything else.
Because he said cacks, fool. I don't know.
You could have said Dutch bros. I don't know. Dog. Like, you
Wait,
cacks.
hey, I gotta say a shout out. Honestly, we're not branded or we're not sponsored by them, but Dutch Bros, fuck yeah, that's just good.
They're pretty bomb.
Never had it.
But going back to what you were saying, Sisko said it too, where I lost my train of thought.
That actually happens to me a lot, bro.
I was like, I had my train of thought, and it was,
No, that was good.
so good.
What happened?
What was it? The cacks threw you off?
No, it was before that. The humps
About
and
the
cacks.
about the guest, like the energy between the guests.
Yeah, but we'll just move on. I'll remember when I remembered.
Well, I'll go back to something because Mike took my time.
Oh, shit,
But like for me, like the podcasting, right? Like I think it started off as a thing just where I was like, fuck it, let's see where it goes. But my personality, it's always been like, if I'm gonna do something, and I think like you said, you know, you worked in hospice and you saw a lot of people with regret. Like for me, it was like my dad's passing. For me, it was that like, damn, like life can be over real quick, you know? So for me, it was like, from now on, like I'm just gonna do things and just try to go full blown 100%, you know? And I think I've implemented into every aspect of my life. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative, you know, but sometimes you're just going head first, but it's all right. But after a while, like you just start realizing, like I told him, like podcasting has become a thing where it helps me. It helps me cope. It helps me like just talk, get to know people like you guys, you know. I've developed friendships. Like we have poker games at my house. I invite other podcasters and other people. And it's just like you're building these relationships and we need that shit. You know, we're all social people and we're all social beings.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna say something.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna contradict you there.
He's a contradiction.
Ooh.
So,
And this is the last episode. Of Sisko and Mike.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
It's just Sisko.
he always says that this is like his therapy.
Yeah.
See, that's the hard part about having a podcast with multiple people, right? And I'm sure you go through this too, where his vision of the podcast is totally different than my vision of the podcast. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, this is not my therapy. This is not my therapy. I think I try to open up here as much as I can, but I'm still kind of reserved in certain areas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%.
So when you say it's your therapy, it makes it one-sided. And I get it for you, but, like, my dynamic is different. Like, the way I see things is different. Like, at the end of the day, what I get out of this is totally different than what he gets out of it. And I get it, and yours is valid. You know, I'm not saying yours is not valid.
No, 100%.
But and that's the hard part sometimes, deciding on what kind of guest do we want on.
Yeah.
You know, freaking what are we going to talk about? There's certain topics that he's okay talking about that I might not be okay. And I'm sure, like I said, you guys probably do the same thing. Like,
Yeah, whenever we have guests, I always ask them like what they're comfortable talking about.
Same
I
here.
also research the hell out of them before they come in, so I
Same
kind
here,
of
yeah.
know. And then when they come to because we record at the house, when they come to the house, it's like, hey, like, what are you not okay saying on camera? And then once we finished filming, I was like, hey, if you randomly remember something that you said and you're like, hey, I don't want that on air, like, just let me know.
Yeah.
And I'll find the timestamp and I'll cut it off. But going back to what you were saying, we're kind of that same way because I wanted to start the podcast. I kind of just dragged them along. She lives with me, so she had no choice.
No choice.
So I'm the one with the visions. Like, hey, I want to bring this guest on. I do try to give them the like space.
I got fucking scared right now.
Opportunity.
I'll tell you. Finish it. I'll tell you why I got fucking scared. Oh, by the way,
I was just staring at you. Like,
no, I'm a pussy when it comes to ghosts. Okay, everybody knows that. But I'll tell you why.
There is an old man here. Just saying.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you were saying?
Oh yeah. So and I do try to tell them, I was like, hey, if there's someone that you want to bring on the podcast, like I'm down for anybody.
Yeah.
Just let me know who they are, so I can do my research and do my due diligence. Because also, I don't want the guests to feel like they came for nothing.
Yeah,
you know, like I want them to come there and feel comfortable and feel like they were heard and I gave them the space to talk. And then I wouldn't like being a guest and like no one knows nothing, like completely nothing. And that's why I try to tell them, I was like, don't worry, I got you guys, and like here's some spark notes. Because I know their dynamic. I know our dynamic. You know, Raul has 2 kids and he works full time. Jesus does all our editing, so I don't even have to. I just let him do that. And then she has comadreando, so she worries about that. So I try to tell him, it's like I'll do it because this is my project that I wanted to start. I dragged you guys in, so I'll do my best to have this podcast kind of flow and go to like normal as it could be.
See, that's the same issue me and this will have. He always sends out
notes.
notes.
I send out notes, videos.
Do you see them? Like, do you read them?
I'm gonna be honest. No, I'm gonna be straight up, dog. I'm gonna be straight up. I don't see them until the day I'm coming here.
Oh,
I have an hour drive.
Don't feel bad, bro. They do it too.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, and he gets mad, and I'm like,
No, I get upset when something's brought up and it should be like common sense. You know what I mean?
he sent me some shit about this one guest we're gonna have in, and Andy, some shit I can't remember his name.
I hate
I
that
still
guy.
don't even know who the fuck that is.
Who the fuck asked
I don't
Andy
even know who the fuck
podcast?
Andy- I don't know who the fuck that is. He's
That's
like a serial stalker or
guy.
some shit. I don't fucking know.
Stalks this
Yeah,
girl
fuck
on
that guy,
TikTok.
Why do you think
weird.
you guys had a solo podcast in the back asking you the questions? Where you're from?
No, I
What
was
do you
drunk that day.
do?
I was drunk that day. I was fucking drunk.
He's like,
dog.
Andy? Yeah, hey, what's
Yeah, well, I was drunk that day, so I apologize for that. But no, I don't read that shit, dog. And the morning, I tell him all the time, I was like, fool, don't fucking trip. Have I ever not showed up to the podcast and not fucking put out or
Oh, put out where?
so
Well, he slept with all the guests already.
Why do you think the guests like coming back?
Second time here.
Yeah, no, but that's why I don't trip with them either.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I do. Like I can reside with you. Like sometimes I'm like, damn, bro. I'll send him notes and I'm like, hey, did you read the notes? He's like, no, he hasn't even opened his phone. I'm like, fuck. But then they're very good at. They can handle a conversation.
Yeah.
So then I just kind of like,
Exactly.
then I'm like, all right, you know what, Mario, you got to chill out because there hasn't been one podcast that they don't talk.
Yeah.
Or they don't kind of just join into the conversation or
Exactly.
add something to the
Yeah.
conversation.
Well, there's been podcasts where you're so prepared and we show up and you fucking blank out and I'm just
I think
like,
I'm over.
I got you, dog. I
Here's
got
the thing. If like I just sometimes hate the feeling of having to lead the conversation into a certain thing. You know what I mean?
No.
And I think like you
like
do,
to lead the conversation.
you like you jump on it good. You know, like you're
was
good at
your
that, and you're
Just having a little conversation.
and your follow ups are great. You know, but like sometimes it feels like I'm always like the one having to lead it to certain things. So sometimes it feels like, and I don't know if the guests. I'm just thinking for the perspective, like. If I feel one guy's doing it, it feels like, oh, this guy's the only one asking the questions and this guy's doing the follow-ups.
Well, it's because I always told them I don't like doing questions.
Yeah.
I don't like interrogation.
Well, me
I want
either.
to do
We
shit
didn't.
like right here. We're
Yeah.
fucking around.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
it's cool to have notes. I think that's one thing. I don't know. Well, Andy's podcast is the majority of people that he brings on is like really close friends so
Yeah.
far. But I think for the people that we don't know, I'll try to have my notes. But I want it to flow at like a conversation. I don't want it to
Exactly.
be like, oh, let's hit this point, this point,
Yeah.
this point, this point. Where I think as of lately, I stopped looking at my laptop like completely because I was so stuck on like wanting to hit certain things that the conversation wasn't flowing.
Yeah.
It was just like it was an interrogation. What it was.
Yeah,
what it
exactly.
was,
I don't
yeah.
like that shit.
We don't, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we got that good balance between that because we say, okay, here's our guest, here's some things. They already talked about this on 10 other podcasts. Let's not go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, let's forget that and let's just let it flow. So we have like a general idea of what we're going to talk about and we just let it flow in a sense.
What about you? Let me say shit.
Go fish.
Go fish.
Is it?
It's 1, 2, 1, 2. What is it?
What?
1, 2.
It's goldfish, right? Because you put goldfish.
Yeah, you said
You did say goldfish.
I was driving.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the little fishies that they sell.
I was
Yeah.
hungry, right?
We're on a diet, dog. But bring some Cheez-Its.
I mean, I try to have like notes in my mind too, because I record on my phone, so I don't have anything. So I'm kind of just like, okay, well, I know like what I do my research, of course, and I'm like, okay, well, I want to talk about this, but thankfully, all my guests, I've been able to just talk to them, which is cool. I've been kind of just leading on. And of course, I feel like sometimes there's like dead air and I'm just like, and like, what's up? So what's up with this? Like, I try to push it along, which is hard. And unfortunately for me, like, I'm by myself. So I'm just like, all right, so I have to try to keep the conversation going. I did one podcast by myself, and like, I was like, okay, well, I went for like 45 minutes. I was like, oh shit, I can't believe I talked for 45 minutes. But like, it's still hard, like, without having the banter of like other people.
You do everything yourself?
Yeah.
Like you fucking put the phone and
audio, phone, edit.
Nobody's there with you even on the sidelines, or
No.
Really?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Have you ever fucked up?
Thankfully, no.
We fucked up once.
Just on the audio, but I edited it so you wouldn't be able to notice.
We recorded a whole episode with no fucking audio.
Yeah.
We recorded a full podcast, and everything was recording. The lights on the cameras were red. The light on the recorder was red. I put everything onto my laptop. Nothing.
And like those compas, what they've done. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I have friends that I've been able to use as my example. I'm like, okay, I like this and I want to do this. I want to try to incorporate that. So it's pretty cool. So I feel like that's the only thing. But if you notice my videos, now, spoiler alert for my podcast, you see me, I'm going like this with the guest. And then I'm like, I look at my laptop to see if it's still recording, if everything's still, and I'm just like this. And I try to talk to him. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, I look at my phone. I'm like, okay, cool.
You do get paranoid. I look at the cameras a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'll go and like, is it red? Is it
Yeah.
red?
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, you have him to like help you guys. So like, I don't know how. I feel like you guys still like, are the cameras good? Like,
I don't. I really don't.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Hey,
He
wow.
does.
Yeah. It's like, that's why I even wear the earpiece. Nobody else likes to wear them, but it's like I can monitor.
She gets
Like,
sweaty down, and then he don't change the shit. So whenever you guys,
we each have our own. Nah, we have the little pieces. We have.
You guys are putting on fucking ear thingies from like 10 guests before you. No, I'm just kidding.
That's not true. After
That's not
after
true.
we had one after the one time we had one guest that was, I was like, yeah, we're fucking switching them out every time.
Yeah, nah.
Oh,
no,
it's good. Says you have the in-ears?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lick it, but oh, this is the one I used last time.
But
No,
that's, I gotta give you credit, because I don't think, like, and we've talked about this sometimes, where it's like, hey, I can't make it, just run it yourself. And it's like, I don't think I could run it by myself.
real quick, because it's just that's twice already has happened. Why the fuck you leave that door open?
I don't know why.
Because right now when you pointed,
Oh, something is moving in there.
yeah,
Oh,
it's the fucking balloon. I know.
It's a balloon.
But
Oh,
from the
I
corner
got
of
scared
my
right now
eye-
too.
No shit. What
Fool.
the fuck is
From the corner of my eye, I
It's
was
a balloon
like,
right there in the crease.
what the fuck is peeking? I thought it was Andy.
Yeah.
I was doing one of these fucking stalking videos
We're
and shit.
podcasters. Of course we suck at their podcasters.
There you go.
You guys notice the balloon?
Yeah,
I did
I
notice
saw
it.
it.
I just noticed it right now too.
First time I saw it, when you pointed at your girl,
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck's behind her?
You-
I was like, salvate, salvate.
She just gets pulled like, oh my god, like. No, dude, I saw it. You pointed it out, and I saw. I was like, oh shit, and then I saw it red. I was like, oh,
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
oh,
fuck,
thank you.
that's twice it happened already. Fool.
That's funny.
I had to close that door, sorry.
Now I want to know the old man story.
Oh,
So allegedly, let
let me tell it the way it is. This always downplays it. He says it's not true.
it's true. It's true. It's 100%
Okay,
true.
tell him about the old man. Tell him.
So when we bought this building, the wife was selling it, right? So the husband had died, and apparently, I guess he was attached to the business that was here. So people have said that, like, I've encountered, like, felt certain things when I'm here alone. Sometimes I'm here like at midnight or something, just working, and you feel weird, like if like I just start getting goosebumps all over, right? It's like, all right, it's time to go home. That's my sign. Like, I gotta go. I gotta go. But other people have, like, even my mom, when she's here, she's walked up and she felt like she just crashed into like a shadow. Cleaning people have said this. Some of the guys, when they work, they go in the restroom, they see like the shadow, and it's like the old man. We call him the old man.
Yeah, I've never seen it personally, but when I was working with him here, I would not be able to fucking stay if it started getting dark. And he was like, "Hey, fool, some of the guys are gonna come in late with the trucks. Make sure they get in." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not staying in the fucking place myself. You fucking tripping."
They can get in themselves.
Yeah.
Nah,
They're
fuck
grown
that.
ass
He would
men.
wait outside.
Yeah,
No
I'm
lie.
not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's more active in the stairs.
Yeah, in
He
the
says
stairs and
Oh,
then
interesting.
the restroom hallway.
I'll fuck him up.
No, but like I said,
Drops the light on you right now.
like it's nothing bad. We never had any issues
This
with
one had me looking for gold.
For
for gold.
Remember when your mom and you were like, "Hey, aquí hay enterrado algo," and we were looking, and we didn't dig or nothing, but we were fucking. Remember we were looking
You
around?
were looking around.
Yeah, I was like, Yeah, I think this
There
is
has
hollow.
to be
fool. I think-
something.
There has to be something. This is a little hollow.
Hey,
So-
bro, you might want to do it here.
How old was the guy when he passed?
I have no idea, to be honest. I have no recollection of or knew
What
who
if it's
he
not even
was.
money for that he buried here? What if it's something like
No, I just for me, it's like all these spirits and all that. It's energy, right? So I feel like if he invested so much time into his
Yeah.
work, he left a lot of his energy here. So it's a lot of times that's what it is for me.
So I feel like I don't know if you guys have heard of this theory of like how we all live on one timeline and how we're like everything's going at the same time.
Yeah.
So I've always heard that there's also like the theory of ghosts aren't real and that it's like our timeline.
Parallel universes crossing.
Yes.
Who's fucking
So-
quoting Loki and the Avengers and shit?
Yeah, I know. And then the other multiverse. No. But so like that's why we see them.
Yeah.
So they see us at the same time we
And they-
see them,
and
then
we're
they kind of
ghosts to
react
them,
it.
yeah.
Yes. So that's why even there's been stories of like, oh, there's been a ghost for a long time because they saw you, and then they're dressed like old school because we're seeing them in their attire.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be like our timelines are kind
Well,
of.
what happens? Okay, so like, what happens when it's somebody that you knew? Because I get that. I get the point of
But you were all, maybe you guys were at the same place. Like this building, this guy was working here for years. So right now he's probably just
I'm
working.
talking about like me and you know each other.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
Right? And Andy, not saying that we wish that would happen. Knock on wood, you don't die. But if you died today,
Why does it have to be Andy? Why can't it be you?
or me, well, I can't see myself. What the fuck, bro? Because I can't. I'm talking about me and Andy.
Yeah.
And I can't fucking die and see myself. Fuck. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah,
I can be a ghost to myself.
Actually, you do. They say when you die, you see yourself as you leave your body.
oh my man.
But anyway,
But I get
You
you.
know what
yeah.
I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
If I pass away, right, and you saw me next week,
Yeah.
how is that a different timeline? You
Well,
see what I'm saying?
so-
It's
but-
kind of like I get if I saw a random viejito that I never met, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, this motherfucker's probably from a different. I get it, it makes sense. But what about if you see your mom
Yeah.
or your kid?
Well,
you know?
that's what I'm saying. I'm talking
Is
more
that your
about
kid in a
location.
different?
Yeah, I'm just talking about more location based, like this building, for example, or like haunted hospitals. People were there for fucking hundreds of years, and you go there and you're like, oh shit, like there's a ghost. I'm not saying I believe it or that it's true or anything. I'm just like, it's a pretty crazy theory that they see us and they get scared and we get scared because we see them at the same time. And but yeah, no, I mean, I and you're right with also all those energies. I mean, if you're connected to like your parents, you're probably gonna see them or feel them. And
This was quoting the others.
you know
Have
the-
seen the others?
oh yeah,
Oh yeah. You know the thing for me,
fucking
why I
wild.
believe in energy more than anything, because my grandma, she's 94 now. She's 94. She lives by herself in Mexico. She takes care of herself, and
Damn.
she
yeah.
when she would come visit us before, like when I was young, like maybe like 12, 13, 14. She every night, you know how like old Mexican, they pray every night till like midnight and shit. So my grandma would always kneel by the door, and I could see her from my bed because I would sleep by the door, and I could always see her praying. So a week after she left back to Mexico, I saw her shadow get up, kneel, and just there for like 2-3 hours. And then it got up and left. And then I had bunk beds
just
at the
her
time.
shadow?
Just her shadow.
She hadn't passed away.
She hadn't. Well, she's still alive. I'm saying
No,
she's
that's what
94.
I'm
Yeah.
saying. So it was just she was there a week prior, and then a week
Yeah.
later you saw her, and she wasn't there no more.
Yeah.
She was in Mexico.
Exactly.
Holy
So like and you know what the people say when they pray, a lot of people like give out their energy, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever you believe or whatever it is, you're really focused, or you're giving a lot of your energy to whatever it is you believe in or praying to. So that since then that changed my perspective. I was like, wait. And this trippy because I had bunk beds at the time and my sister slept on the bottom bed, and I was like, in the middle of the night, I was like, do you see that? And she's like, yeah, it's my grandma. And I was like, oh shit. So I was like, okay, I'm not tripping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we just see the shadow get up and leave. And since that day, for me, it was like, okay, it's not just when you die and shit. There has to be something else that just makes you, you know.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's why
That's true.
it always changed my thing
Well,
to energy.
when I stayed at this fool's house, it was so wild. I'm just kidding. He was all like,
It does happen. When we first moved into the house that we're at right now, we moved from a 1-bedroom apartment to a townhouse, and to us it was a big change.
Yeah.
So we weren't used to that much space, and the wall that's connecting to the neighbor's wall, it kind of sounds like they're in our master bedroom, like just from the echo. And like, dude, I would get tripped out so much because our master bedroom is on top of our living room, and I would just hear like someone walking, and it would trip me the hell out. And I was like, I would start praying, like, look, I wouldn't tell her anything. We'd just be watching TV, and I was like, Santa cielo, que sea.
dude, isn't it so fucking funny? I mean, it's like, of course we're men or whatever, but like you still get scared. Like there's fucking times you're like, fuck. Like my wife hears something, she's like, did you hear them? I'm like, nah.
Start snoring louder.
Yeah. No, and for me, like when I'm asleep, like I'm pretty still alert. Like if I hear anything, I'm like, And I'm like a dog. I'm like, my ear's like, huh? Like, but my wife doesn't always hear it. But when she does hear it, I'm like, fuck, it must be real. Like, I'm like God damn it.
You know, it's crazy because you guys don't have kids, huh?
No.
Okay. When you have kids, like I said, I'm a big freak. Like I get freak.
I'm a big freak. I'm a big freak.
No, I'm a pussy.
Your terminology is off today.
I want to cuss less. I'm trying to cuss less, guys. I'm trying to cuss less.
Got it. Okay.
So I don't want to say I'm a big pussy. When
Scared, just say scaredy cat for.
That's what I meant, but I said
fear.
He's a freak.
I'm a freak. I'm a freaky freak.
He goes to a rave one night.
Hey, you want to say that story on fucking? Nah, fool. That shit was trippy. Hey, I still got that stamp on my fucking hand.
But go on with your whole thing.
Anyways, my hump day.
Your
freaky story.
Yeah.
No, so I'd be the same way. Like if I hear some shit or whatever, I'm not gonna get the like. I'm like a la verga. I'm going putting my covers. I don't know if you ever done that, and I'm just like, don't touch me, don't touch me. But when you have kids, bro, the instincts, I think the father instincts kick in. It's kind of like, fuck no, my first protection is my kids.
Yeah.
So I'm scared, but I'm still like in protection mode because it might not be a ghost. It might be an actual fucking intruder.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I don't mean to laugh, bro, but I just imagine like a burglar coming into your house and you're like, I'm a freak.
you don't want to fuck with me. I'm a big freak.
He's naked. He's like, what's up? Let's go.
What's up?
with a fucking gag tape or some shit.
He has a ball gag.
Yeah. You know what Sisko?
Leather suit. He's tied up. He's like, I'm ready now.
No, everyone like in next Friday.
Fucking whips.
He opens the door and the uncle's
Dominatrix.
Oh shit.
That would scare anybody off. Dog. Wrong house. That was gonna be scared of you.
I'm trying to scare him.
Not the other way around.
Hey, he's gonna drive by like, hey, don't go rob that house. It's scary.
There's a freak in there.
Yeah, there's a freak in there. Hell yeah.
Se pasa de.
I know.
Can we move on?
Yeah, let's move on. Go for it.
Apparently, I eat ass, guys.
Okay, big freak.
Hey, you wanted to move on.
No.
Nah, that's a fucking weird story with the rave, but
Hey, we'll get into it later.
Yeah, well, that'll be one of that's your no manches, right? Later.
yeah, it's gonna be my
All
number
right.
later.
But yeah, anyways, so I want to get back to the podcasting, guys, because obviously we're here to shed some light on you guys. You know, you started yours because you're talking about regret and things like that. How has it changed for you now, though?
I think it's opened up my eyes a lot to the how much opportunity we have now as creators. I think for the longest time I was stuck on this, like, I need to have a 9-to-5. I need to have a stable job. Not that I don't, you know, obviously we have stuff to pay and obligations and responsibilities, but it's just now it's a lot of the things that I wanted to do in the creative space is a lot more attainable. So like growing up, my dad was like super machista and like super like, you have to do this. You have to have not a blue collar job, but you need to be working with your hands.
You need to be working hard, or you're not working
hard. Yeah. Like you need to come home and you need to be dog tired. And for the longest time, that was my entire view of life. And like, not that content creating, like, you know, there was that whole controversy that as of lately, like content creating is a lot harder than the 9-to-5 type deal. But I think now...
Well, that's a shot at IE and friends.
It was another podcast.
Yeah. But, you know, we just talked about that. I'm going to learn a little bit about that. But we just talked about that, and we were talking about that on the way over here. Like, not knocking anybody's 9-to-5 or their job. I think both things can be as equally exhausting. Yeah. A job can be mentally draining and physically draining. You know, I clean carpets. I mean, I have a blue collar job, so I'm physically and mentally drained at the end of the day. it's also my family business, so I'm dealing with the customers, dealing with clients, employees and stuff like that. With content creating, I'm talking to other creators, trying to get them on, scheduling, doing my research, editing, trying to see what's next, like what's up to date, or how do we stay up to date in the podcast world. So they're both can be as equally as tiring. And that's the only thing I really got to say about that. Like this whole debate of like which one is harder than the other one, it's like, you know, you hop in front of a camera and do this and create something. Like, let me see you do it and then talk about it.
Yeah.
While coming back from your 9-to-5. Yeah.
So until you do both, then I feel like then that's when you can have an opinion about it.
Yeah. And I think we talked about that with your episode too. Remember, we were talking about how difficult it is to do all this, to edit, record, and actually make time for it.
Well, and I think what I've learned, it's funny, since then, it's kind of, not changed, but my viewers and my videos have finally been popping off. And I've just talked about this, that it's crazy because it took me years, dude. I've been doing this for a long time, making videos. And I think finally I got to the point where I'm like, I think I'm starting to finally feel like it's worth it. Because I finally made my stalker video series, which is I just had to be weird to pop off.
That's
You gotta be a freak.
You gotta be a freak. There you go, Mike.
That shit popped up because you came out on America's Most Wanted, fool. They started using your fucking videos and shit.
He came out on Dateline.
Yeah, right. It's like, if you see this man. No. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's interesting because I feel like I've probably been making videos like on and off, of course, but since 2009. With friends, and it started with friends and just by myself, and then now 2024 March, I can literally show you the video. Like, I finally started like popping off, and I think that just showed me like when it's your time, dude. Like I know I'm not saying I'm like doing this full time now, but I'm just saying it now seems like it's something that can happen. Like, I'm barely starting to realize, I'm like, okay, this can be a career. This can be something I can live off of, and it just took 20 years almost. Like, I mean, but it's worth it now. And I think we've all heard the stories of like, just don't give up. Like, if you want this, like, go for it and like keep doing what you love, and it should pay off sooner or later, it's wild.
And that's kind of like the route I was going to say. It was like with my dad growing up, it was always you needed to work hard. So I always wanted to do something creative. So it's not like, no es que no me dejaban. It's like, if they didn't see the worth, then it's like, don't even pursue it.
Yeah.
So then I started the podcast journey and diving into like a lot more content creating. And now, like Andy said, now I'm starting to see the value. We're starting to connect with a lot more people. We're starting to see what it could possibly be and like the outcome, especially with other podcasters. You see like the growth. And now they're kind of starting to understand it. So I think my output or my view is like, oh, I can still do what I want to do and be happy. And like, I let go of that like stigma of like not working hard, but like, llegar dog cansado de la casa, de la casa.
It's fucking funny. I think for the first time ever, my parents have always known that I make videos. That they're like, it's funny. He wants to be an actor, like blah, blah, blah. And like, I think for the first time ever, me and my dad were drinking. We were at a bar. It was me, my dad, and my brother. And for the first time ever, I think he finally acknowledged that this could be a thing, because he was like, he's like, Hollywood's bad, huh? He's like, there's like a lot of like pedophiles and like people doing drugs and stuff. He's like, I don't think you should do this. I was like, are you finally acknowledging that I can be famous? Like, it just took like all my life for you to acknowledge, like, okay, you finally believe in me. I was like, cool. It felt interesting, but him also telling me like, hey, don't do it, mijo. Like, don't go into that.
But or just be careful.
Yeah, just be careful. And like, I was like, I'm gonna keep going. Like, but it was just funny.
You had that one tear.
Yeah, I was like, but cool. Yeah, it was interesting.
We're gonna take a quick pause, real quick.
Okay.
Can we move one of the cars? My guys are working actually, and they're gonna take one of the trucks. Don't pause the recording, just let it play.
Which car?
I have no idea. Let me check.
Probably my car. My car's right behind.
My age, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a couple. There's a bunch of shit that I've done that could be considered machista or is machista, right? But I think you were saying about the hardworking and how they don't consider this, like the whole controversy about, it's just as hard of work as in doing manual labor, right? Mm. And to a certain extent, I do agree with you, but I also disagree, because I think what a lot of people are trying to say is that, or I mean, maybe not disagree with you, but I see where they're coming from, that they did the physical part of it, and they don't understand the, like, I guess the technological part of being also working hard, right? Yeah. Because you can be stressed out. I work from home, and I deal with people all the time. And there's some people that I'm like, fuck, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, no mames. Like, and it stresses you out. And yeah, to me, I was like, I'd rather chingarme las manos and be like, oh shit, I'm sore because I lifted something heavy, than I had to deal with this motherfucker who doesn't get it and is not going to get it tomorrow. And I'm going to have to, like, it's mentally stressful. Yeah. And you think about it and you're like, what did I do wrong? How can I fix it? But at the same time, I guess my question to you guys would be, does that make you less? And I'm talking as men, because we're men here. Does that make you less of a man that you're not doing the hardworking job and you're doing the...
Nah, honestly, I think everything is hard work. It's just different. You know what I mean? It's like one thing for me, for example, I went from the hard work to now, well, sometimes I still work with the guys, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm still putting in the long hours.
Yeah, but you
it's
tell them what to do. You tell them.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's more my mind, right? And the one thing that I've learned now that I can work I've worked 26 hours straight before. I don't mind working the long hours. For me, the stressful part is dealing with the people. That's fucking stressful. And it's like, that's the draining part for me. You know what I mean? And I think it's also getting rid of our egos sometimes, because originally, like our parents, for example, my dad, a hard worker, worked his whole life, manual labor. And it was like, oh, if you're not working hard, you're not working, kind of like what Mario said. But it's also like, is it really? Or is it just like we're just jealous of the fact that we're fucking los estamos gastando, working our asses off, and this fool's over here like working smart. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. And I was going to say that because somebody said something to me. I had a conversation with a friend the other day who told me that his wife or his ex-wife would always say like, hey, the man's job, and I'm speaking of a marriage now, right? The man's job in the house is to take care of the labor part, right? Meaning like the yard and all that shit. Mm-hmm. And I own a house, and I hired a guy that does my gardening. Like he literally fucking does my front end.
Is that why you let it die? You let the yard die for that reason, so you don't have to pay for it?
No. My guy. My guy comes around. He's my yard guy. My yard guy.
I get you.
So, and I thought about it, and that comment, it messed with me, right? Because I'm like, wait, I'm a homeowner now. I grew up. My dad was a homeowner. And he did the work, or we did it as men, like the sons, right? Yeah. Am I less of a man because I'm not fucking doing this? And then I thought about it. I was like, wait. Let's evaluate shit, right? If I do it by myself, which I can, because I am physically capable of, it's going to take me 3 to 4 hours to complete both yards.
Damn, that's a long time.
Well, yeah, it's a big ass backyard and big ass front yard, and you got to do the fucking
flags.
No. I live in Redlands, bro. I bought a fucking house out there. You know, way cheaper than San Diego and LA. You know, back then.
That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, no. In San Diego, if you live in San Diego, bro, you got money. Anyways,
my girl's got 3 jobs, bro.
So
why do you think I started the podcast? I needed something to do.
So it fucked with me, right?
Just like twiddling your fingers in bed, like, damn, I should probably do something.
So it fucked with me, bro. It was like, am I less of a man? And I started thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, it's gonna take me 3 to 4 hours to get this shit done. Yeah. Then I'm gonna be complaining that my back hurts because pushing the fucking lawnmower. And then I was like, in those 3 and 4 hours, I make 3 times the amount of money that I'm paying this dude to literally do it for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I'm capable, if I'm able to pay for it, why does it make me less of a man?
Yeah. I think going back to like what Sisko said is like letting go of that ego. Yeah. Because it does hurt your ego a little bit. It's like, nah, I'm a man, you know? Like, I'm grown.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I think, and then kind of revolving back to like the whole machista thing is like, the whole point of being, in air quotations, the man of the house is being able to provide.
Exactly.
Right? A house and put food on the table and being able to provide in general. So if I have the luxury of being able to pay somebody to do something that's going to liberate 3 hours of my time for me to do something else, then yeah, that's my game. I worked and I hustled hard in order to get to that point in my life where I can do that.
Exactly.
It doesn't make me less of a man. It just makes me fucking smart.
Makes you a smart man.
Money.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like I'm sorry I made more money than you.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe that person just likes gardening. You know,
yeah.
like my dad can easily pay a gardener, but he likes being out there.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
he grew up doing that in El Salvador. Like he grew up in a finca, so like he saw like people cosechando and like he worked out in the field. So he grew up doing that. He likes it and he carried that on to like now.
Gotcha.
He can provide. My mom's a stay-at-home wife. He can provide that. You know, he can pay for the gardener, but he chooses not to because he likes it.
Yeah.
So
the reason to the story was because I was tying it into the whole podcasting thing, right? Yeah. People always saying like, "Oh, ¿por qué lo hace eso?" That's not really go work.
Yeah, how content creating now is like a job.
Exactly, but people don't see it that way. Well, why? Like, why does Andy need to fucking go and fly planes and shit and jump out of planes? Well, because he likes it, but why does he need to do
He's practicing for Top Gun.
When he could do the same thing doing this, and he loves it, and he's gonna make money off of it eventually.
I will say there is a fine line though, of trying to do being a content creator in a sense, because it feels like now people are putting actual careers on the back burner, or they're seeing like, I'm gonna become a content creator without actually putting in the work or putting in the idea, the thought process to it. Like Andy said, you know, he's been doing this since 2009 and it took almost 20 years to blow up. So you're running through a bunch of things, and a lot of people, that's their whole priority, just to become a content creator. Does that make sense? Without having anything or a sort of like
no context to how they
how they're going to get there, no context to the ideas of the type of content they want to throw out there. Because that's part of the whole struggle in the process. Even for us, I know maybe for you too. Andy, you do, you know, content creating and skits and things like that. For us, it's a little more difficult because ours is strictly podcasts, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes we talk about that struggle, like we need to do something besides talking heads and shit on the podcast, and that's it.
Yeah, but the hardest thing with that is like I don't want to do something just because.
Exactly. And that's what I'm getting. A lot of people do it just because they think it's gonna be their job.
Exactly. Or it's like me, like your shit, it's just funny, right? And I go start doing something like Mike fucking
Freak.
Mike Freak.
Mike the
You know, it's kind of like yeah, it might be something different, but at the same time, I'm just emulating something that's already been done. And at the same time, I'm not about that. Like, I'm not chasing clout. Like I said, one thing we've always said is like, I don't want to chase clout.
Yeah.
Like, there's other podcasters, and not maybe not in our genre, because we I think, like you said at the beginning, maybe at the beginning it was kind of like competitive, or kind of like, fuck you, I'm gonna this is me. Yeah. But now I think everybody sees what everybody's like. Like if they were to ask you, hey, what's Sisko and Mike? You probably tell them a generalized, like, oh, esos cabrones, they did this and that.
Yeah.
Vive Con Huevos, what's that about? Oh, this and that. What's Andy? Oh, he's a fucking stalker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, right? Like everybody's already has their own like niche, kind of.
Because even then, people have told us when we've had guests, dude, you guys needed to talk about this because that's what's blowing up in their thing. But for us, it's like, we don't chase that. We've heard it 10 times already.
Yeah.
People have heard it.
That's difficult to do because we've had that conversation too. And I think I talked to Andy when he came over to the podcast. Is like, now content creating, podcasting is just so overly saturated that how do you set yourself apart? Mm-hmm. Do I want to talk about trending topics? Yeah, but so did 50 other podcasts.
Yeah.
And out of those other 50 podcasts, I'm pretty sure my audience listens to like 20 of them.
Exactly.
So like, what am I going to say that they haven't heard already? It's just saying it.
Well, you said it better?
Yeah, just saying it in my voice. So, you know, and you said it too, it's like, I need to start doing something else. And that's what I told Andy this year, is like, I needed to start trying to see what we can do with the brand that can not just set us apart as a podcast, but just set us off differently as a brand. Because it is overly saturated now. Like, you know, it is common for people to be, or say, who doesn't have a podcast now. I think we said it earlier, like all these celebrities have podcasts. So it's like, how do I set myself apart as a brand and then have that recognition? You know, like people can see Vive Con Huevos and they can automatically now they can put a face to that picture, you know? They see Sisko and Mike, it's like, oh, it's these fools. You know, Andy, and he's behind a tree. So, so, and it's hard. It's, you know, like I said, like, I'm not trying, not like saying that neither a career like a normal 9-to-5 is difficult and podcasting is difficult. To each their own. Like, everybody has their own issues. And people just don't see the back end stuff. A lot of people now, especially in the content creating world, they see the end result. Yeah. You know, a lot of the people that we look up to in the podcasting world, like, we see the end result of how much hard work they've put into their podcast and into their brand to get to where they're at right now. Yeah. They got those sponsorships or that recognition, or they got invited to that event because of their hard work. He got invited to the premiere, right? To
Top Gun,
Mission Impossible, because of his hard work. Like, it wasn't just randomly they found him on TikTok. It's like, no, he put in the work in order to get there. And people are now seeing the end, the end of it, like the tail end, the reward, and not seeing what it took.
Yeah, gotcha.
They didn't see they didn't see the 28 days straight. They saw the last day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask Andy something, because this is something that has been on my mind, and I never have him here. No.
I've been on your mind.
Someone's been thinking about you.
No, you're
you want to be a freak?
I mean, technically he is, right? He's stalking people.
This is true.
So those shits blew you up, huh?
Yeah.
Now, I know they blew up in a positive way, but they also blew up in a negative way, right? In a sense, because I've seen some of the comments that people say, and I'm just like, so, dude, he's fucking joking.
So,
like,
That's what I say. I have 3 different types of fans right now, which is the first people who know it's a skit and they're like, haha, this is funny, dark humor, blah, blah, blah. I have the people that are like, bro, like, stop, like, this isn't funny, like, blah, blah. And I completely get it. And then I have the weirdos that
are with it. They're like,
yeah,
fuck
they're
like, that's me.
Bro, like, you should have smelled her seat. Like, oh, you should have taken her shoe and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like,
They're like, let me give you a pro tip.
yeah, dude. It's so funny, but yeah, and it's true. But so, I mean, we comment back to the funny ones, which I'm like, okay, I'm gonna comment back to these, but I'm gonna ignore the other ones. I'm like, thanks for commenting, but I'm not gonna like give you the light of day because yeah, we get some comments, but I mean, it doesn't bother us.
But how do you deal with it? Because I know you say it doesn't bother you, bro. But at the end of the day, there's gonna be something you're like, "Whoa, shit!" Okay? I guess have you ever questioned it? Like, should I stop doing it? Has there been a moment in time where you were like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna not do it"? Because
no, well, it's funny. So the way me and my wife are kind of portraying it too, when we kind of see it, is it's kind of like an advisory to people. Like, for example, like. We did one where she opens the car and she's like 100 feet away, 150 feet away from the car. And she unlocked it. And then we've all seen videos of people, they unlock their car and people get in their cars before they even get to their car. And I'm like, okay, cool. So it's kind of like, we're kind of like warning people.
In the trunk.
Yes, exactly. And then, no, but it's also like she was running in the park with her headphones and you can't listen to your surroundings. And then I did whatever I did, like behind her back. And then it's true. Like, it's like, you got to be aware of your surroundings. And a lot of the comments too are like, why isn't this girl like aware of her surroundings? Like, why? And then a lot of people in the comments too, they're like, yeah, she shouldn't be wearing like soundproof headphones when she's running in the middle of the woods, you know, which she's in the woods, but it's like whatever. But yeah, so we're kind of thinking of it like that. It's kind of like a warning for things that have happened. Oops, my bad. And things that have happened and things that could happen. So we're kind of seeing it in that way.
Are you afraid though for your girl? Like, because she's becoming popular, right?
Yeah.
And like you have the three types of guests. Yeah. Are you afraid that maybe one of your weird guests eventually might run into her and
start stalking?
Yeah.
And she has a gun.
There you go, fuckers.
She's like, "What's up?" Like, I get you. I mean, thankfully, I don't think so. I mean,
or even for you, because you might run into somebody that says, that's the fucking stalker dude that believes it.
Yeah,
you know, because I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, there's fools out there.
I've seen movies now where like actors have played the characters so well that I hate the fucking guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, he just played a role, but I'm like, no, fuck that fool. If I see him in the street, I'm a fucking, you know. So some people,
he's gonna meet the freak.
So bring out the whip.
I'm like, hey, whoa! I just see Mike like in the corner, like. No, I feel like the way I'm kind of also, I want people to know that like it's a skit, and I want people to know like it's not real and it's for fun, you know. But that's why I'm also trying to incorporate more skits, different things. Like I'm trying to take advantage of like the fan base that I'm building, that I'm finally been building up now, that I'm like, okay, I also want them to see that I'm not just this stalker. Yes, exactly. I'm trying to do like other skits, and I'm trying to incorporate like my acting, and I'm trying to do that stuff. Now that I have people coming onto my page finally after years, now I'm just like, okay, cool. Now I can show off. Because I think one of the coolest comments that I've seen, or some of them are like, wow, bro, like I've been going through all your other videos and you've just got a follower, like you're funny. And I'm like, that's cool. Like these videos brought people to see my other videos that I've worked hard to. So I'm like, that's what's cool. So I'm also trying to implement that so people don't think I'm a real stalker. So
that's pretty interesting, because you're actually thinking about it differently. A lot of people would milk it.
Yeah.
They milk the stalker thing, or they milk the skit.
Well, I am. Because it's fucking working.
But but what I'm trying to say is that you're also incorporating other things. And that's actually, I was going to ask you that if you felt like you have to do those skits now, you know what I mean? Like if that's going to be your signature where you have to always go back to it if something's not working.
I'm going to say no, just for the fact that I love it, dude. I love making videos. I love being in front of the camera. Like I love just coming up with little skits, like things that we can do really quick. Or I love doing short films just because I can do it. Like, so I'm not going to say it's like a job or it's like a hassle to me. I'm saying I love doing it. So it's just so much fun. And I just get to be creative. Because also, like, I don't know if you've seen like all of the stalker videos, but there's also like little like details in there that I put in, or like little storylines. Like I stole her dog at one point, and then I took the dog out for like a day, and like it was just funny because it's just like I can also be creative with these things. And then like I said, I hope people know it's a skit, and a lot of people do. But yeah, it's also fun to be creative in that aspect too.
Have you guys talked about doing skits?
We have. It's just my mind doesn't work that way in skits.
Gotcha.
Like I think of something and I was like, oh, that's funny. But like how Andy did the twist with the we're soulmates. Like I would have never been able to think of that twist. Like my mind just doesn't work that way. I have been wanting to incorporate like other things, but more in like I want to grow like maybe my personal TikTok and do skits there. So it's my personal brand and I'm not just growing Vive Con Huevos. So it just kind of all ties in together. Like he's funny, but he also has a podcast.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think that's the hard part because for me, it's like sometimes we got to do something, but we want to do skits. But for me, it's like, I don't want to force it or I don't want to try to be funny. Like, I want it to be natural, like a lot of things. And that's the hard part is like.
Well, I agree with him. There's things that I want to do for myself.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not always about Sisko.
100%, yeah.
And like some of the skits we've talked about are okay, but like you said, it's like sometimes it feels like we're forcing it. And I was like, I don't like that shit.
Yeah, I think what you need to do is, I think you need to do it.
Yeah.
Cause dude, it's so funny. Cause like when I've done like a short film, like I've even had friends and I've had Marley and with my wife on there and like, they're like, is this going to make sense? And I'm like, trust me, like just trust the process. Like once you see it edited, people, once they see it done, they're like, oh, that's funny. Okay. That worked. So I think what you need to do is you need to just do it. And unfortunately, like if you don't like it, then don't post it or post it. Cause you might find out that people, that's what I thought about the stalker one. I'm like, okay, I think people think it's funny. I never thought it would blow up to millions of views. Like I was like, and those are the ones that like are the ones.
Everyone always says that. It's the ones that you didn't think that was going to blow up.
And so, because it does feel weird because you don't have any, like, you just like talk in the camera. You're like, hey, Mario, what are you doing today? And blah, blah. And then you turn it into a skit, different camera angles, or you add music, you add sound effects. And you're like, oh, okay, now it's funny. Like, when you're in person, you're just like,
there.
What the hell am I doing?
Yeah. Like, we filmed, like, I've done like a short film, and it was like a party scene. And when you see it, there's like there's music bumping, we're all drinking. And then when in the background, what we're really doing is we're like, nothing. It's pure quiet. What we just did right now, that's exactly what's happening. So, and it feels weird, but once you see it like all put together, you're like, okay.
But everybody has to be in tune, right?
Yes, yes.
If somebody's off, you're gonna it's not gonna make.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I think I feel weird too.
Yeah.
In public, like I was gonna ask you how it feels because, like I started, I was like, you know what? Like I'm traveling off for work. We have no content to throw out there, nothing. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna start vlogging. I put the camera on myself and like I feel stupid. Like, like what am I supposed to say? Like, what do I say?
Is it because we're older?
No, it's just the fact that like, what do I say? Like, oh hey, what's up? I'm at the airport right now. And
I don't think it's because you guys are old. Because I tried doing it. We went to a wedding last year, and I was like, I'm gonna vlog it. This is gonna be my first vlog for Vive Con Huevos. And I did the first one, and it felt so unnatural to grab the camera
and like this, right?
Yeah, no, but like I tried to do like the whole like, oh, I woke up in the morning, like, hey, I'm gonna go get breakfast, and it felt so awkward grabbing the camera and be like, hey, what's up, guys? Get ready with me, and like, let's go get some breakfast, like that. And I was just her and I in the room. And that just felt so unnatural to do.
Yeah, I get what you're saying because there's times when I've done it. Don't get me wrong. I have videos where I'm just like, "Hey, what's up?" Blah 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 blah. And then I'm like midway through like my idea, and I'm like, "Man, fuck you guys." So it's like,
well, I mean, I think it does not feel natural because it's not natural. Yeah. You're literally talking to nobody. You're talking to yourself, and it does feel weird. I mean, thankfully, like my stalker videos, it's I think the only real public one. Well, we did one at the fair, we did one at Starbucks, we did one.
You guys did Walmart or Target, right?
At Walmart, yeah. I feel weird. I hate doing public like that, but I'm like, well, we have to do it. It's funnier if you see like other people moving around, because if it's just at the same house, you're like, all right, cool, like whatever, it's the same house. Yeah. But it does feel weird. But thankfully, like I'm not like talking to the camera. But like I said, it's not natural. You're literally talking to yourself. And the thing that I think is hard for you guys is like, you may think it's funny, but you won't know if it's funny until you put it out there. So I think that's what you guys should do. I think you should go through it and finish it. And then you should be like, okay, cool, it is funny. And then show it to somebody. And I think that's the hardest part, is showing it to somebody, because you're going to be like, I hate still to this day, like showing my skits to people, because I'm like, I think it's funny, but I'm like, are they going to think it's funny? Like, you still have to be a critique to yourself. So, but I think that's what you guys should do. Start it, finish it, edit it, put all the sound effects and everything you want to do, and then see how you feel. Because I completely get it.
Where'd you get the inspiration for the stalking? Like,
So
inspiration.
why do you stalk?
Like, how did you say, I'm going to go with that route?
So I saw someone do something similar, but I was like, I could do it better. Like, I was like, I could do something else better. And then that's the video that I put out. So, like, and it's true because I'm pretty sure you guys have heard people talk about, like, inventing things. New inventions not always take off. New inventions is the hardest thing to take off. The thing that makes people millionaires is they got something and they made it better.
Well, didn't they say that about Microsoft or Apple? One of those?
Yeah.
It came from the other?
I don't know.
I think it was
I think,
Apple,
well,
right?
Yeah, because they thought they
IBM
could make it
and-
better, right?
Yeah.
Microsoft or
They
something?
threw away something. They're like, oh, this is worthless.
Yes.
And then the other person took it, and then they made either Apple. I can't remember if it was Apple or Microsoft. I can't remember.
Something like, yeah.
It was both companies, but I don't know which one was branded off of the other.
But yeah, and that's what I
Yeah.
mean. So new inventions, it's hard for it to blow up. But if you make something better, then that's when people are like, oh, like I have a toaster, but this toaster has 4 slots, so I can make double the toasters. So it's something like that. So
Yeah, gotcha.
yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I would just recommend that for everyone. Like if you're gonna make it, just start it and finish it, and then you see how you feel after. Because I know it's completely weird to be like, oh, guys, I just woke up in the morning, like, what's up? And then you're just like, oh, why did I do that?
Even the POV, I did a POV once going to the Niner game. I felt awkward as fuck doing the voiceover. I was like, feels weird. Even when you were making fun of me too, like, hey, why are you talking like that? I was like, I don't know, like, how am I supposed to talk?
And I feel like that, and I'm not saying you guys are like really good friends, like so, but you're gonna get people to talk shit, especially your friends. Your friends are gonna be like, bro, what the hell? That's dumb. Like,
No, I just thought it was fucking weird because he was like, I call it the, who used to do that? My mom used to do that.
What, POVs?
No, the voice. The voice
voiceovers?
changing. No, it was like my mom like, hijo de la chingada, vas a ver, cabrón, hijo, blah, blah, blah. And then, buenas tardes, ¿me puede ayudar? And I was like, what the fuck? That's not my mom.
Yeah.
So if it sounded weird for you, we're like,
It's because it's hard to do voiceover like without emotion,
going-
natural. Like
I'm a gay 49er fan. And
it was just weird. Yeah, like even that. Like I don't know. I think I don't know what that holds for us as far as content creating in that sense.
It also
I mean,
depends on the type of content you want to put out.
Yeah.
Like, there's other content creators. I mean, I don't even know if they consider themselves content creators, but it's like they have their day in the life videos, and it's just this guy that works at an office. Like that's his. He's like, come with me as a 35-year-old that works a normal 9 to 5, and he does no voiceover, nothing. It's just raw edits of him picking up his backpack. He packs his lunch, goes to the office, he films himself. No music, no nothing. He's not talking, and then gets in his car, goes home, goes to the gym, goes to sleep, and that's it. Like that's his, and he gets like millions of views.
that's crazy. But how many of those can you do? That's one thing I tell him. It's like, how many POVs can we do of you going to the 49er game? How many POVs? Like he
I
always
mean, I
tells
go to a
me-
lot of games.
Well, but I'm saying, how many POVs?
Yeah,
like,
but then you think about it, and the 49ers start sponsoring you because then you start growing an audience. And then
Yeah.
you,
Well, we did get a lot of 49er followers from that video.
that's because
So
I was wearing my Raider jersey for him.
you didn't come out in that video actually.
but
you should just start going to the 49ers game and just start yelling other things like que vamos un gol or something like something completely random
Yeah.
from like another like sport.
Yeah.
And like just start because people love that shit.
Yeah.
They love commenting like what you did wrong.
Yeah.
So
True.
that's gonna
Yeah.
get the ball
and I
rolling.
feel like there's a niche for everything, dude. Like if you, yeah, exactly. If you were to do that, people are gonna be like, why is this guy commenting these things at a football game? Like, so I think there's there's a fan base for everything, literally everything. Like, so
just release your freak videos.
Then I won't get paid on OnlyFans, bro. Hey, how much did they charge now? $6.99 or?
Do you guys think there's a shelf life for your guys' content? For example, for the podcast and for your skits and your podcast, do you think like at some point like damn like I don't know how long we can keep this going?
That's funny because that's probably the biggest internal battle that I have as far as content creating, like making skits. Like I feel like podcasting can go on if I wanted to. Will my views and listens go down? Yeah, but if I like it, then I can continue it. But like me as an actual content creator and doing like those type of style vlogs, I don't think I can continue doing it because that's just not me. Like I don't see myself doing that.
You know what just came to my mind for you, for your podcast, especially with your name, doing skits that end with your name, Vive Con Huevos, and it could be something like inspirational or it could be funny, like siempre he querido jugar fútbol, right? And you're out there playing football, and at the end it's Vive Con Huevos.
Yeah.
Like You're
trying
doing
things that you
do it with balls, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it could be funny. It could be like, I've always wanted to jump out of a fucking plane, and you jump out of a plane. You know what I'm saying?
After 4 months, I will be able to. Right now, I currently can't.
but you know what I mean, right? But you know what I mean, like
that is something that we're putting into play this year. I can't talk about it yet. I can tell you guys off camera, but there's some things going into play maybe within the next month or two that's going to be able to make me do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, okay. I just haven't been able to do it because we haven't released certain things.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the reason I bring that up is because like we've both, like, in the last 4 months since we recorded, it's been like hard for both of us. We've, you know, the family stuff, the work stuff, and it's like, what happens if these things continue? You know, obviously the family's still gonna be there, the work's still gonna be there. Like with my business now, it's starting to grow, and we might have to expand to the Midwest and to Texas. So it's like, damn, how long? It's something I want to continue, but it's like, realistically, I have to start prioritizing, you know? And it's something that I don't want to give up, but it's an internal battle, kind of like you said. It's like, what do we do? And at the same time, it's like, okay, what if we take some time off like we did now? But people are going to start losing interest. Yeah. You start losing followers. You start losing subscribers. And it's like, that's the hard part, you know, kind of starting all over again. Like right now, we can pick it up. It's fine. We're still not at the position when we have like hundreds of thousands and you see that huge decline. You know, a lot of it is friends or people that have just become small fans and things like that. But eventually people are interested. It's like, oh, okay, these guys inconsistent. So
I think the one thing that I've kind of helped for myself is I still love it. I still love doing it. And I think that's for you guys, like, as long as you're loving it, keep doing it. I mean, even if you're like, hey, we have to take a break, but like, keep doing it if you love it. Because once you stop, like, you're like, we have to make another podcast. I think that's when you start losing interest, even in yourself, and people realize that you guys are losing interest in it. Like, and I think if you guys especially are changing it up every time, and I'm pretty sure the conversations are different every time, your guests are different every time. So I think that's when you really start, like, I think that's when yourself, you'll know, like I need to stop. Because you just said it. You said you're taking a break, but you still love doing it. Yeah. So I think when you're still there, just keep going.
And your true fans, they'll come back.
Yeah.
Your true fans are the ones that are messaging you like, hey, you didn't post. What the hell?
That's true.
4 months. Like, we miss you guys. Where are you guys? Maybe it's not on the daily, but you'll randomly get one every now and then. And like what Andy said, like bouncing off like the whole energy conversation is like, it does, like, your energy does come off onto the podcast. Yeah. So if you do come onto the podcast and you're recording and maybe you're not feeling it anymore and you're just tired and you're like, fuck this, you know, quiero hacer esto. It comes off on the podcast. And as a listener, you kind of pick up on that energy and like, you're like, oh, maybe I don't want to listen to this podcast anymore. Mm-hmm.
That's true. I don't know. Have you ever felt like that?
I'm not gonna lie, I have.
I mean, I didn't lie either.
No, there's times when I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, fuck, I gotta drive all the way over there. I'm like, fuck. But I'll show up. I mean, I'm very good at showing up. Yeah. It's like we talked about at the beginning. I didn't fucking read half the shit. 90% of the shit this was sent to me, I'm just like, I'm not gonna read it right now. Yeah. I don't got time for it. I'll read it later. I know I'm gonna do good, but it's more of the, again, this is his therapy, not mine. Yeah. So I don't see this as my therapy. And then there's things that I think we could do differently. And I get it. He's going to tell me, well, you know, you bring them to the table. Maybe we can, but it also comes down to we both being on the same page. Yeah. And the capability to do it, the availability to do it, because it comes down to time. Yeah. Like, I had this last 4 months, he's been traveling for work. I had my daughter's quinceañera. I was like, I don't give a fuck about anything other than making sure that day is 100%. Yeah. And he knew that, and I told him, like, hey, I got to do this shit. I got to do that. So now that's gone. That took the stress off. We could focus a little more on it. Like, today we're here. Yeah. Next week I think we're shooting again. I think we're doing another one after this. Yeah, let's go back on the grind. Let's get back on the train. But I do want to change. Like, this is different. That's why I like this. This is different. We didn't even fucking play poker. But I know. It's different. You know what I mean?
With the chips.
Exactly.
Yeah, so just like, but and I'm gonna clear something out. When I say this is my therapy, I don't mean it like, oh, this like makes me, you know. What I'm trying to say is that like it just takes my mind away from my normal life, from my job, from, you know, right now I had guys come that are working. I totally forgot they had to go to work today. You know, they had to go to a facility, and so it's like that, like all the stresses I'm going through, it kind of takes it away.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to other people's perspectives sometimes. And sometimes you listen to them, it's like, fuck, my life is not so bad.
You,
dog.
you want me to be honest with you?
Yeah.
Do you know what that does that for me?
What?
you just explained? What not?
Oh, selling? Well, it's the exact same thing. You're on there talking. You're literally doing a podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do. I told you guys, I have a 9 to 5, right? Well, it's actually 6 to 4 because I go to work at 6 in the morning. But I don't need a side hustle. You know, fortunately for me, I've worked my ass off to be where I'm at, where I could provide for my family. I do it, one, because I've always loved selling. Like, I've always been an entrepreneur. And I'm doing what I sell is I'm going to shout out my filthy slabs. That's my side.
You got to come up with a better way of saying it. The freaky slip, filthy.
Freaky.
Even the name is freaky, filthy.
Filthy as in
Filthy
it's slang.
Yeah.
It's slang for like
Filthy
sick.
slab.
Slabs is it's
You
graded
sicko.
stuff. Anyways, I sell collectibles, right? I sell sports cards.
Sisko and Sicko.
So I sell on this platform where I live stream. I don't show my face because I don't feel comfortable. I sometimes go on and was like, "What's up, guys?" Blah 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 blah.
Sounded
blah.
like a cam girl real quick right now, right?
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that, but
You're
it's just
just
selling.
digging the hole.
He's like, my private show's about to
No,
start in
check it out,
15
guys.
minutes.
Yeah, he does that.
Check it out.
He's
It's
like, I have a
called
show.
Whatnot.
He's like, hey, if I hit you back up, I have a show in 5 minutes.
I'm on live right now. Hey guys, Whatnot, fucking hit me up, DM us. I'll send you the link so that you just could join because I get some money, you get some money. But I sold on this platform called Whatnot. It's a platform that sells all kinds of things. You could sell people sell clothes. People sell
It's like an
Disney
offer
shit.
up or eBay.
It's like an eBay. But anyways, I sell collectibles there, and I'm pretty big in the Marvel community now because I sell Marvel stuff. I sell a lot of comic cards.
Yeah.
And comic stuff, right? So people log on and people, I already have a pretty good following there. And what he just described as is therapy. And I'm not saying that it's physical therapy, like you fucking.
No, I just don't want people, people are going to be like, you actually have to go
the
to therapy.
excitement that he feels for this, that's the excitement I feel for that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And
So I
everybody,
get you.
everybody has their own thing too. I think Paulina and I just had this conversation because I was stressing out about numbers. And this always happens to me. Like I'm good, and I'm not worrying about the podcast and the numbers, and I'm not looking at my analytics. But then there's this random day where I just have nothing to do, and I decide to go on, and I'm like looking at everything. I'm like, we should be doing better. Why are we not fucking doing better?
That's me, bro.
And it just happened last week, and I was like, and she's like, you need to first of all breathe, and second of all, you need to start doing something with your life besides the podcast and looking at the numbers, but actually find something that you enjoy doing. Like to me, I used to really love boxing, and I haven't boxed in like I want to say like 4 years. Why did I stop? Just because I was fucking lazy. Why haven't I picked it up? Like I'm just giving myself random excuses, or just exercising, or just going on a walk, or like I can't read books, but I really want to get into. Oh, I can read. Sorry, let me clarify. I can read. I just don't like to read. But then I was like, well, you know what? There's audiobooks. Like I listen to podcasts all day. It's like, why can't I just pop in an audiobook and like a color, Because I can't do that either. Like if I'm listening to an audiobook, my mind will start wandering. So I was like, let's just sit there and like, let me just do something. So I was just finding what you really like as like your quote unquote therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's true. That's something I forgot what guest told us that anything could be your therapy.
Yeah.
Anything could be your meditation. It just a matter like whatever it is to you that's personal, that gives you that space, I guess you can say.
Hey, I think we're gonna close it out pretty soon.
Yeah. Ready to jump into the manchas or what?
Before we do no manchas, I do have a question for all of us. I guess it's more for our audience, but it's a question that I guess we gotta answer as podcasters. But it's also personal. What makes you want to listen to a podcast? Like, because we've like you said, everybody podcasts.
Yeah.
You could go on fucking YouTube right now, on Instagram, and there's millions of podcasts. What, in your opinion, you personally do you feel like a podcast needs or has to have to be able to attract your attention and maintain it?
Oh, you want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's gonna give a
I'll go first.
he's gonna give a deep ass answer. And you're gonna
I think what I look into, like when I'm looking for a podcast or a new podcast that I want to listen to, and I'm a big firm believer in like the best form of connection with anybody is through experience. And I think when the majority of us started the podcast within the COVID realm or timeline, right? So we were missing that. And that's when content creators started blowing up. And I think I've talked about this on our podcast, where content creating just became so attainable to people because we can relate to them. They also had 9-to-5s and they were doing something cool. So as long as you're giving something out to your audience that it's relatable, I think that's what makes a good podcast. Like, okay, celebrities have podcasts, but how is my life relatable to yours? Like, you have so much more money and like so many more things that you could just grasp versus I have to like not work harder in a sense, but like work harder to get, you know?
Yeah.
Things are a lot more attainable to you than to me. So, when I listen to a podcast, I like that relatability. I was like, oh man, someone else went through this too. And like, they're pretty funny. It's like, maybe I need that. So I think that's where we were talking about, like, where it's just, you can relate with people. And it's like, you know, you work your family business. I have a family business. It's like, we can relate. So you guys worked for the military or we're in the military. It's like, well, you guys can relate. So it's like that connection between people. So I think that's what makes a really good podcast.
And I'm going to piggyback off that because, like, I used to be, like, on the Joe Rogan bandwagon. I used to love, that was the only podcast I would listen to, right? But then once he got that, like, big deal, I feel like everything changed, right? Like, it would pique my interest because...
But what is it about him that first attracted you to his podcast?
It was the guest and also, like, just, you know, it's interesting hearing about different things. And it was always something different. He would have different guests, different topics, you know? So it was like, okay, cool. Like, oh, shit, he has a physicist today, you know, Neil deGrasse or whatever it was, right? And it's different things. And then just hearing his perspective, because he was providing a normal person, whatever their guest was, their profession, he's not an expert, right?
But anybody could do that. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah,
it was the way he said it.
But it was just, that was my first introduction to podcasts.
Gotcha.
You know, and as he started getting bigger, I felt like it started changing, you know? So it felt like I can't relate to this anymore. Like before, I was just as interested in what the guest was saying to Joe Rogan as he was. But then he started chiming in and trying to become an expert in certain things. And it's like, yeah, no, like that's not what I like. So for me, it's the exact same thing. It's connecting. And that's why even now, like, the only bit podcast I listen to occasionally is Flagrant, just because sometimes I find it funny. But most of the podcasts I listen to is like all these people, you know, like our friends and stuff. Why? Because I know them and it's like, oh shit, that's funny, you know?
Yeah.
And you're also learning about them. Like, I haven't talked to Andy and shit, but I seen what Andy's doing.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm still connecting with Andy, you know? So Primos, we haven't talked to them in a while, but we connected with them through their podcast, whatever their experience was, and vice versa. So now for a podcast for me, it's like he said, it's just being able to relate and just having some sort of connection, I think.
Yeah.
Which makes it, in a way, it makes it hard sometimes too, because it's unfair for other people because I'm not giving them that chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's podcasts that are like, I want to join in on or jump on the bandwagon, but it's hard because it's like, I can't really do it.
Well, I think it goes back to the old saying that you only get 15 seconds.
15-second frames?
Yeah, to impress anybody.
Yeah.
And so you always got to be on your best 50 seconds because you never know who the fuck you're going to meet. You might run into Tom Cruise's manager.
Scientology handler.
You probably know him by now, but if you didn't know him, that might have been your ticket.
Yeah.
And if you weren't there for those 15 seconds, he might say, you know, fuck this guy. I'm not.
You lost your opportunity.
Exactly. So, you want to go next?
Yeah. Honestly, like, I just think it's making me. I love the podcast, which I know this is one of them that you can laugh, but they can also have serious conversations. Yeah. And I think for me that's awesome because I'm like, I want to be cracking up and like driving to work, and then they're like, hey bro, like your father trauma, like your dad trauma, like what's up with that? Like I'm like, oh yeah. And then you guys had one too, interesting about generational trauma.
Yeah.
And like I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like I didn't think about that. So I like those podcasts that you could be really funny. It's like good topics, and then they have like the really serious talks, and like. That's for me. That's what piques my interest. Yeah. So that's what I like.
Keeping it real, keeping it natural.
Yeah, exactly.
And those are some of the best comments, actually.
Yeah,
like those are the ones where we really get a lot of comments where it's like, damn, you guys were vulnerable, and it's like we didn't really try; it just happened.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the conversation just goes there. But yeah, you're right. It's kind of like you said, it's connecting with them. You're feeling the same thing because we all have that some sort of trauma, you know.
Yo, it's kind of like the episode that you guys had with Leo. Like I think Leo's a very well-versed person, and like he's blown up, and like he has an amazing career. But that interview or the podcast that you guys had with him, like it had what Andy just said. It had the funny moments. It also had the serious moments. I mean, Leo's been through a lot. Yeah. So I had that great combination, and I feel like that's what piggybacking off what Andy said. That's what makes a good podcast.
Yeah. For me, I'm gonna go with what Andy was saying. I consider myself, I guess, funny at times, or I say some funny shit sometimes. It has to have some type of comedy. I like to laugh, but I do want it to be somewhat serious, not too serious, because I'm not looking for the too serious shit. I don't care about that. Like, I do care about it, but not in that moment. I want to have an overall, like, time. But I also, if a podcast doesn't seem knowledgeable of what they're talking about, that kind of
Valiendo madre. No wonder you don't listen to us.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, like, if you're gonna say like something, I'm not telling you have to be an expert. I'm just saying
know your stuff.
Yeah,
know a little bit.
Know a little bit. Like don't just say something just to say it. You know, just for the clout. So that's just me. But anyways, if you guys want to tell us, once we post this video, tell us what attracts you to a podcast, what attracts you to us. I mean, sometimes I feel like, fuck, you shouldn't even listen to us, but what attracts you to Andy? What attracts you to Vive Con Huevos, you know?
Besides our good looks.
All the time.
And that we're freaks.
But
The Freaks Podcast.
maybe we can do that.
Yeah.
Freaks Podcast.
Maybe you could do that. You can do that.
I'm down.
That could be your side project that you were talking about.
Anyways, we're going to move on to, we need to fucking come up with something new. I feel like we've done every no manches. You talk about the tipping and the
no manches happen every day, dog. Like, there's so much shit that happens.
You always say the same no manches every fucking time.
Oh, it happens every fucking time.
We're going to move on to our no manches section. You guys know what that is, right?
Yeah.
You want to go first?
You want to start it off. You have a great story.
Mine just happened this weekend, too. I think we were talking about it before this. My no manches, I guess, I don't even know what the no manches part of it is. I guess the whole fucking story is going to be no manches. But I was out, I was telling you guys this weekend I went to a concert on Friday, which it was a Paisa concert. It was Roberto Tapia. We went to go see him. And then we ended up at the LA brewery to drink. We were having a couple of drinks. And this couple pulled up and fucking, it was weird. They looked like they were in their early 30s, and so they weren't young, but they weren't old. And we're weird. It was weird. We were playing, and I said, "Hey, we got the table, homie." Like, I try to machista, right? It comes out. It's like, "Hey, homie, like, we gotta be here for a while."
What
I
you
got
doing,
the
huh?
table.
You don't know you're fucking with.
Yeah, you don't know fucking with us. This is Mike from.
You don't know
Cisco.
this, but I'm a freak.
I'm a big freak.
I think he knew because the motherfucker. What happened next? Is like, he goes, "Oh no, we're just here to watch." I'm like, "Oh shit."
That sparked your interest.
Oh, you're even more freaky.
So he's like, when he said that, I was like, what the fuck? What do you want to watch me play foosball? You know what I'm saying? So whatever. I invited him and his lady to fucking play with us. And they agreed. And after our first game, it turned weird. Like, the fool was like, his girl was like, hey, you guys like EDC? And I was like, nah, I don't fucking like that shit.
EDC or EDM?
EDM, that's some shit like that.
Music,
EDM, whatever the fucking is. I don't like that shit, right? I don't have a problem with it. I just don't like it. And it turned weird because they go, we all been in that situation. We all come from the hood where if anybody always asks you, do you want to go to a real party? You know what the fuck that means.
Yeah.
And I know I should have been like, no mames, nah, I'm cool.
Does it happen in Yuma?
I'm not like that no more.
You want to go to a real party?
Of course, yeah.
Fool, I took the invitation and we ended up in this fucking underground rave.
Vive Con Huevos, bro.
I said, fuck it, let's do it. We ended up in this fucking underground rave, and it's like in the middle of downtown LA in the warehouses. They stamped me to get in. I didn't even notice what the fuck they put on my stamp on my hand until the next day when I woke up. I was like, I eat ass. What the fuck where the fuck were we at last night? Luckily, I mean, I didn't do anything stupid. The first thing that they offered was, hey, you want Molly? And I was like, nah, fool, I'm cool, dog. I'm cool. No manches away. Like, who the fuck? Like, what the fuck am I doing? I guess it's no manches for me. What am I doing? I'm old, dog.
Hey, but you're experiencing things. Like, you shouldn't even look at it that way, honestly. Like, fuck it. Now you can say I went to a rave and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I never
An
thought I would.
underground rave. Like,
Fool,
Yeah,
I
an
never,
underground
I
rave.
never ever in my life would I ever said I'm going to a fucking rave. Like I've never.
but now you can say it.
Not gonna say yeah.
So you're
Fuck
viviendo con huevos, like.
Yo estoy viviendo con huevos,
I
yeah.
got a sticker for you.
And actually, I think that's something too. Like you gotta get out of your comfort zone. We all do.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
if you want to do things, like we have to get out of that comfort zone and just be able to. Fuck it. Now you can say that, fool. It's on your bucket list. No regrets.
I could have ended up dead, fool.
Hey, fool, you
yeah.
sent us your
Hey,
location
those
for a
are the
reason.
best stories.
I
Those
fucking
are
sent
the
him.
best.
I sent you. This was my location.
Or it's, you guys know Franco Escamilla?
Yeah, the comedian.
Well, he has the Netflix special.
Yeah, it just came out, right?
No,
I've been
he has an
wanting to watch
older
it.
one. I haven't watched it yet, but I do want to watch it. But he has an old one, and I always refer to this. He had Por la Anécdota. So he's before his fame, like he had all these crazy stories that he would put into his comedy. But now because of the fame and like how much money he has, like he has to kind of live a private life. Then now he purposely puts himself in situations where he can tell things online on stage. So it's kind of like that, man. He's viviendo con huevos purposely now.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, that's my no manches, bro. Like I don't know where the no manches part is. I just think the whole story is the no manches. I shouldn't have been in that situation. But I'm here, dog. I'm glad I'm alive.
You're alive.
Alive.
And you didn't text us anything, so I was like, all right.
Hey, he's gonna wake up. He's still at the rave. He's like, oh no.
Hey, but you know what? You know what's crazy?
He
You know
shows
what?
up with a glow in the dark necklace.
No, this is the no manches part. If I send you if your homie sends you a fucking text message at 2, 3 in the morning with just a location,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I'm like, you good?
Yeah.
No, I didn't even get that. These
Oh.
motherfuckers didn't even care.
I was asleep, fool.
Yeah, I was gonna
like.
say, but if they're asleep, it kind of sucks.
No,
but
bro. If my phone rings and I see the homie, I'm like, oh shit! Like you kind of wake up to go take
unfortunately,
a piss.
dude, I have my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Me too.
Oh, hell no.
Me too.
I've called this guy drunk before,
Yeah.
and yeah, he hasn't answered. Like
Yeah.
called him like multiple times.
I have mine on Do Not Disturb. It's just like works, like clients that I know
Would you
that
have
they're
felt
work.
guilty for if you found out I was dead?
No.
What a day!
Why are you there?
But what? No, I'm not.
said
I'm
yes.
not. I'm not gonna put that on myself because you
I
decided to do
texted
something.
you, fool. You're supposed to come and rescue me.
A location doesn't tell me anything. Huh? It just tells me, okay, I'm here. Like,
Well, now you know that if I ever text anybody a location,
all I know is you're being freaky and trying to send the location of someone. I don't know. You messed up. I don't know. Drunk
It just
text.
says Cisco, come through.
Yeah.
well, I can't say it because what if one of my kidnappers like, oh,
That's
this
true.
was fucking SOSing? Nah.
You're gonna love that shit. I'll tie me up harder.
Anyways, that was my no manches.
You guys want to go?
Do you have one?
I have like a small no manches, but this happened to me a long time ago, and like I will never get over this moment. This was when I still had Vitality Bowls, the superfood cafe, and we would sell acai bowls. And this lady came in, man, and to this day it still bugs me. Like I think of this moment, I just want to punch her in the face. But she orders an acai bowl with peanut butter in it. And I'm like, all right, bet. Like, cool, whatever. Like, it's normal. Everybody most people get peanut butter on their acai bowl. And whatever, everybody, they do it. I give it to her. She leaves. She comes back like 5 minutes later, and she goes, hey, I need to complain about something. I was like, all right, like, what happened? And I'm looking at the bowl to see if, like, anything's wrong. I was like, everything's on it. There's granola. There's strawberries. Like, everything that's supposed to be there is there. I'm like, what the hell? And then she goes, your peanut butter tastes too much like peanuts. And I was like, what?
Was it the crunchy or what was it? What is it? The chunky?
No, so this bowl in particular, you put the peanut butter in the mix of the acai,
Oh, okay.
so it's blended together. And I'm just like, yeah, you ordered peanut butter. Like I was just so confused, and like I didn't know what to do. Like I think my mind went blank, and I was like, I feel stupid listening to this right now. And then I was like, well, like, do you want me to make you another one? Like I don't understand like what's your complaint. Like, yeah, you ordered peanut butter. Like I don't get it. And then she's like, yeah, I just want something else. And I was like, no me voy a poner a, like,
Yeah.
and I was like, whatever, like, this shit's gonna go on Yelp. And then, so I was like, I was explaining to her, I was like, whoa, this bowl has this bowl has something else. Like, what do you want? She goes, I don't know, but just add something to it. Like, what do you have, like, as far as like other toppings? And I was like, and at this point, I was already fed up. Like, it was towards the end of the day. Like, she was probably like one of the last customers. And I was like, well, we have almond butter, but it tastes like almonds.
That was good.
And she just left the bowl on the counter and like turned around and like left. And like I was just like,
Oh, she got the hint.
yeah.
She got the
I was like, yeah, that was a big like small no manches part for me. I was like, that
That's
lady
hilarious.
for real? Like,
picky people. Yeah.
Andy does that shit all the time. He goes to McDonald's and goes, give me a cheeseburger, no cheese. I'm like, what the fuck?
Actually, you're like that too. And I've talked about this. It's pretty funny. Like for me, like someone that like, well, I'm picky too, but not like that. But it's funny when I hear him like talk about certain things. I'm like, Fool, like what?
Well,
Like,
because this always gets at me because I don't drink anymore like that. I don't drink anymore because I kind of gave it up at the beginning of the year. I drank a little bit on my birthday and then
a little bit.
Okay, that day I did. But I don't drink like that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't. I just don't want to, especially now with what we're doing. But whenever we would go out, I got introduced to mezcal last year, right? And I like mezcal. Mezcal was good. I was like, oh shit, especially one that has a smoky flavor.
Yeah.
And so every time we were going to the bars or out and get drinks last year, I would always be like, can I get a paloma, pero con mezcal?
Nah, that's not what you would say.
Yeah,
you,
but
you,
and then I would be like, but can you make it smoky?
no, you would be like, I'm looking for something smoky, something sweet but smoky at the same time. And it's like, I'm like, what? Fool? Like, what is the bartender supposed to say to that? Like,
He's a bartender.
yeah, but
No, this is your job.
He's supposed to tell me, oh, maybe some.
but you know what I mean. It's just like, and it's not like a fancy bar either. So it's just like a normal bar.
There's one of those like, ¿quieres whiskey, güey, o no quieres whiskey?
Yeah,
I was
it's like they don't even have martinis, fool. It's like adios, motherfuckers, and drinks like that, fool. Like
this gets mad at me because I was still ordering adios, motherfuckers. That's
Because you're trying to get fucked.
You're trying to have a good time. You're trying to get freaky.
I'm
and the other thing I make fun of you for is the cheese.
what cheese?
So like when you get chili cheese fries, but you guys have the shredded cheese, not the string cheese.
He laughs. He's like, yeah.
That reminded me of something. One time we were at In-N-Out and we were in the drive-through line, and like I would randomly, like Bao and I weren't talking, like I think she was like on TikTok or something, and I was like, do you think they can make a grilled cheeseburger, like grilled cheese, but like put the meat in the middle? And she goes, a cheeseburger?
Oh shit! Yeah,
I was like, oh, you're right.
that's fucking great.
That's funny.
My turn. Okay. Mine is, and I feel like you're gonna feel the same way. Mine's against my wife, just because she doesn't fund my career.
Yeah.
Like, just let me quit my job and let me be an actor. You know, like,
Yeah.
what kind of woman are you?
Yeah. You guys wanted the power.
Yeah, it's like,
You work 3 jobs, babe. What the hell?
how much do you really love me? Like, just let me quit my job. You take care of all the bills. I'll cut the grass.
Are you gonna have the food ready for dinner?
Dude, I'll fucking have the house clean, apron.
It makes for great content, dog.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
just the apron.
Just the apron. I'll be like, look,
Plus, it's a new thing. Houseful. You've seen it.
the house full.
The
Yeah,
houseful. You've seen it. You
there
gotta
you go.
take
I'm
care of them
inspired.
queens.
I want to quit my job so I can take care of you later, though. It's an investment. If you really think about it, it's an investment.
Yeah.
Come on, pal. That's
My turn.
Sure.
All right. I guess I'm gonna jump on a little bit on the trend things. So you know we've been traveling a lot lately, right? So have you guys seen the airport trend?
The jumping over the
Yeah.
their luggage.
You haven't seen it?
Oh, when you get on the chingaderita, on the turn thingy.
He just he
No,
just
he said the baggage. I've seen some where like they'll fucking pretend like their baggage, right? No, I don't know. Is that the one?
No.
I don't know.
What's that TikTok right here?
I want to see your algorithm, bro.
Just people stuffing each other in baggages. I'm like, oh.
It's just bondage and bandages.
and I think it's a no match for me just because I feel like, remember I told you guys I like vlogging and things like that is just
Yeah.
so weird to me. Seeing so many people doing things like that, like randomly, you know, like
They're jumping over the camera, right?
yeah, and just seeing it everywhere. It's like fuck, everywhere you go. Like I'm not gonna lie, I even told our guys there was like 7 of us that were going on the work trip, right? I was like, fuck it, let's do it. When we show up in our work gear, but it's like fuck, like I wouldn't do it after at the end and shit.
Yeah.
I would feel embarrassed, but just seeing it, it's like
with hard hats. You just see 7 guys jumping.
yeah, for real. So, but just like, I don't know. It's no much because to me it's like, fuck. Okay, what's the extent? You know what I mean? Like, you're just seeing
What's
it
your
here and
limit?
there, huh?
What's your limit on what you're willing to do?
Is there a limit on what I'm willing to do?
No, what I'm saying, yeah, like for the TikTok.
Getting weirder.
You guys turn everything sexual and shit.
Well,
I'm talking about TikTok. Fuck, recording TikToks.
first of all, we haven't done anything outside of the podcast before, so I
No,
don't
but
know.
you said you were trying. You thought about doing that shit with the 7 guys.
Yeah.
Wait,
7?
I've heard 5.
Guys.
Mike's like, hey, make it 8.
I'm getting red now, bro.
Oh,
Fuck
shit.
You guys turn everything sexual. I'm just shut the fuck up now.
Joe, cut him off, bro.
What are we drinking, dog?
Who's in the
Hey,
Dutch Bros?
Hey, this is a sober dog.
sober, Mike. Imagine. Fuck.
Imagine I was fucking faded.
Is there a limit to what I do? I mean, obviously, like there is, like in TikTok wise, but
I think you meant to different.
TikTok wise, just content wise, I guess. I don't know, but it's just like I said, it's a natural. So
You want 10?
that's my no manches, I guess.
Just getting all mashed up.
All right, fool. That's it. Usa.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
You ready to close it out?
Let's go. Are we gonna have
Well, I mean, Mark could give us his. We've never had his words of wisdom.
Oh, that's true. Wisdom's yeah. That's true.
Vive Con Huevos.
That's good.
That's good enough for him, right?
Yeah.
Right, babe?
I was about to say it's good enough for me, but I was like, nah. You guys done that shit
That's
already.
enough roasting bread.
That's enough for
No, I think you said it earlier. Remember we said there was like words of wisdom without saying it when he talked about just doing it because no regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
I want to say thank you. We want to say thank you guys. Honestly, you guys drove from far away, and it's not easy. You probably have a long ass drive back home
And
this
I
afternoon.
looked at the traffic right now. I was like, dang.
And then you got to go back home too.
Yeah.
I know you were here anyways, but still taking the time to come chill. I want to say thank you. This is fun. Definitely, we got to do your guys's. Hopefully,
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe we could do like a beach style in San Diego. Maybe we could do like
Oh, that'd be cool.
fruit picking in Yuma or some shit. What do you
there's
guys
fruit in Yuma.
Lettuce.
Oh, lettuce? That's what
We're
they
the
make?
lettuce capital. Oh,
Fuck, let's go.
Rattle-
You guys really?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
rattlesnake hunting.
Rattlesnake. We can go coyotes. Yeah.
There you
Oh,
go. You got. I mean, maybe we could go shooting. You said you got
yeah.
fucking.
Let's go. We'll go shooting.
Shooting
Do a
episode?
podcast out there.
Can I
Let's see
take
who's
my
the best shot.
Can I take my guns from here? No, that's cross call though. That's illegal.
Because your guns are not legal, right?
They're legal here. Well, most of them.
Whatever guns are legal here are illegal in most states. and
No,
stuff.
you
Yeah,
can't. You
Arizona.
can't cross.
You can't cross state.
You can't
No?
cross
Nice,
states.
Yeah.
I think you can go into Arizona. I don't think you can come back.
Yeah. I think they're
True.
legal in Arizona. More legal in Arizona than they're here.
Well, I
Like
don't know.
Texas and all that. All this.
I'll just take the illegal one. It should be legal in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But-
Just leave it there.
anyways,
No, but yeah, we want to thank you guys. Like I said earlier, part of it was we built these relationships, and I appreciate you guys being who you guys are, because you guys, supportive all the time. You guys are cool people. It feels like we talk all the time and we know each other for years. So that's pretty dope. You're bringing different friendships to our lives, and that's more than we can ask for.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that.
No, but thank you to you guys for the invite. We really do appreciate it. And like you said, it is kind of like a small, tight-knit community that we've
Yeah,
built.
for sure.
It really is cool, like seeing everybody's growth and like their trajectory, like how far everybody's coming. Because I mean, like I said earlier, like we all started from somewhere, and like it's pretty cool to see everybody's growth. And you guys' content, you guys are killing it too.
thanks.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's been so much fun. It's my second time, and it just got even funnier. And of course, I feel like it's just all up from here for all of us. So I'm excited. Thanks. Can't wait for the third and fourth time to come back.
Cool.
For sure, sounds good. I've been looking at your shirt, and initially when I saw it, I thought it was like the Fuerza Regida TQM. I was like, te quiero mucho, Tom Cruise. Like, that's what I thought it was, honestly.
He got the shirt of the Yankees.
You should make that. Put a little Q and te quiero mucho.
Te quiero mucho, Tom.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thank you for riding with us, even though we had a long ass break.
Yeah.
Make sure you stay tuned. We got a lot more things coming, and thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Peace out.
For everybody's